I got the hot mic, Chris. And yesterday I saw it, but we're like a few minutes in. Chris didn't tell me I had a hot mic, man. Chris, you're supposed to go. Oh, like you always do. 3, 2. Yeah. But there was a lot of shit going on yesterday, huh? All right, people. So this is the lounge. We're sitting in here right now before the show starts. We got about 26 minutes in. Boo Boo made it. He got the lokes on.
Yeah, that's how you know I made it.
We're gonna have a pretty crazy conversation with Amie. She's gonna come in here and talk to us about her doing time in Chowchilla State Prison and how they're transferring transgender males in there to do time with them because they identify as females, which I personally think is a little bit crazy. And you guys got any questions and stuff, please put them up there and we will ask.
That's right. Tap in.
Kill those mics. Pretty crazy conversation with Amie. She's gonna come in here and talk to us about her doing time in Chowchilla State Prison and how they're transferring transgender males in there to do time with them because they identify as females, which I personally think is a little bit crazy. And you guys got any questions and stuff, please put them up there and we will ask.
That's right. Tap in.
Kill those mics. Pretty crazy conversation with Amie. She's gonna come in here and talk to us about her doing time in Chowchilla State Prison and how they're transferring transgender males in there to do time with them because they identify as females, which I personally think is a little bit crazy. And you guys got any questions and stuff, please put them up there and we will ask.
That's right. Tap in.
Kill those mics. Pretty crazy conversation with Amie. She's gonna come in here and talk to us about her doing time in Chowchilla State Prison and how they're transferring transgender males in there to do time with them because they identify as females, which I personally think is a little bit crazy. And you guys got any questions and stuff, please put them up there and we will ask.
That's right. Tap in.
Kill those mics. Pretty crazy conversation with Amie. Come here and talk to us about her doing time in Chowchilla State Prison and how they're transferring transgender males in there to do time with them because they identify as females, which I personally think is a little bit crazy. And you guys got any questions and stuff, please put them up there and we will ask.
That's right. Tap in.
Kill those mics. Her doing time in Chowchilla State Prison and how they're transferring transgender males in there to do time with them because they identify as females, which I personally think is a little bit crazy. And you guys got any questions and stuff, please put them up there and we will ask.
Tap in.
Kill those mics. Her doing time in Chowchilla State Prison and how they're transferring transgender males in there to do time with them Mics are hot. Don't say anything about moving beer. She's gonna hear you. Mics are hot. Mics are hot. You got 2 minutes? That's the hardest part to teach anybody, Chris. Learn campfire. That's the hardest part to teach anybody, Chris. Learn campfire. That's the hardest part to teach anybody, Chris. Learn campfire. Yes. No pop. The loop.
Great icebreaker.
There's something. Cameras on 1 minute.
Great icebreaker.
There's something. Cameras on 1 minute. Yeah, who was going clear? Nobody your mics. Nobody your mics. Come on. Nobody your mic.
Test.
Now what am I doing?
What am I doing?
Your headphones.
Come on, Chris, talk to me.
Yeah, just say where you're at.
Test.
All right, people. 20 seconds in. Let's get this bad boy in.
Come on, Chris, talk to me.
You ready? That's right. That's what I want to hear. There we go. That's what I want to hear. That's money. People. 20 seconds in. Money in the bank. Money in the bank.
Come on, Chris, talk to me.
You ready? Yeah. That's right. That's what I want to hear. There we go. That's what I want to hear. That's money. People. Money in the bank. Money in the bank.
Come on, Chris, talk to me.
You ready? Yeah. Everywhere. That's right. That's what I want to hear. There we go. That's what I want to hear. All right. That's money. All right, Chris, let's get this thing in. Money in the bank.
Here, I'll
Thank
take
you,
it.
babe. Yeah. Everywhere. That's right. What do you want?
Got it.
What do you want? What a nice guy. What a nice guy. Thank you, babe. Oh, man. What do you want? You want water in there or something?
Oh, what about you?
What a nice guy. What a nice guy. Thank you, babe. Oh, man. What do you want? You want water in there or something?
Oh, what about you?
What a nice guy. What a nice guy. We don't. We don't do that. Oh, man. You want water in there or something? Up to you, Holmes. This is the American Cholo Podcast. Right, Boo?
That's right.
Hey, close the little blind over there because I have a stalker that comes in and watches me. There you go, player. Up to you, Holmes. This is the American Cholo Podcast. Right, Boo?
That's right.
Hey, close the little blind over there because I have a stalker that comes in and watches me. Yeah, audio's up. There you go, player. All right, hit that intro beat and let's get this bad boy rocking and rolling. Right, Boo?
That's right.
Hey, close the little blind over there because I have a stalker that comes in and watches me. That's what I'm talking about. There you go, player. And today feels like Saturday. Let's get this bad boy rocking and rolling in here, man.
Damn.
Let's see. There you go, Chris. Fix me up real quick. And there we go, Playboys. Talking about. All right, everybody, guys, you know what it is. It's the one and the only The American Cholo podcast, broadcasting live and directly from North Hollywood, California. My name is Gil. I am The American Cholo. And, of course, like always, I got Boo Boo's beard in the building.
That's right.
There we go, Playboys.
Do it today.
All right, everybody, guys, you know what it is. It's the one and the only The American Cholo podcast, broadcasting live and directly from North Hollywood, California. My name is Gil. I am The American Cholo. And, of course, so I want to thank all you guys for coming, supporting the channel, watching the channel. Make sure to subscribe, like, share. And if not, no, you know, it is what it is, homeboy. But let me go ahead and introduce our next guest. Our next guest is a former inmate of California Women's Prison who is on a mission to expose how California's transgender policy has negatively affected females incarcerated. Please give a warm welcome to Amie. I don't want to chop up your last name, Amie. Inmate of California Women's Prison. Ichikawa? Who is on a Ichikawa. I like that. I like that. Amie Ichikawa, how are you? Has negatively affected females. Mike, Amie, I know you're not shy. Please give a warm welcome to Amie. I don't want to chop up your last name. How you doing? Ichikawa? Who is on a Ichikawa. I like that. I like that. Amie Ichikawa, how are you?
That was crazy.
You're not shy.
From like 20 miles ago.
How you doing?
LA traffic ain't no joke.
Oh, you got an echo right now, Chris? All this time, just figured out. It might be one of the two roadcasters on there. Let's go ahead, take your time.
From like 20 miles ago.
It might be on that part, Chris. I think it was the same crap we were having yesterday. All this time, two roadcasters. It might be one of the two roadcasters on there. Let's go ahead, take your time. No, there's one on top too. Watch. Well, no, the same way you're doing. There's another one. I just saw there was two of them running around. Yeah. No? It might be one of the two roadcasters on there. Yeah. All right, kill the cam for a little bit. We'll go check it out. One on top too. Watch. Well, no, there's another one. We got. I saw there was two of them running around. Yeah, but all this time we had the audio on. Nobody told me we had echo problems, man. I started when I started talking. Check it out. One on top too. Watch. Well, no, there's another one. We interested. Yeah, but all this time we had the audio. Nobody told me we had echo.
You got the mics up, right? We'll go check it out.
Oh no, the mics can stay on.
No, there's
another one. We got. Yeah, but all this time we had the audio on. Nobody told me we had echo problems, man. I started when I started talking. Check it out. One on top too. Watch. Well, we interested. Yeah, but all this time we had the audio on. Nobody told me we had echo.
You got the mics up, right? We'll go check it out.
Oh no, the mics can stay on. There's another one. Yeah, but all this time we had the audio on. Nobody told me we had echo problems, man. I started when I started talking. One on top.
It must be catching also on.
We interested. Yeah, but all this time we had the audio on. Nobody told me we had echo.
You got the mics up, right? We'll go check it out.
Oh no, the mics can stay on. Yeah, but all this time we had the audio on. Nobody told me we had echo problems, man. I started when I started talking.
It's picking it up off summer. It must be catching also on.
It just keeps saying that? We interested. Even now? With the mics off? Well, mics are on.
We'll go check it out.
Oh no, the mics can stay on. Yeah, but all this time we had the audio on. Nobody told me.
No, I got it right here, but that's what
Huh? No, I don't think it's that. Go over there and do some sound checks. Hey, why don't you sing for us, Chris?
Testing, 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 testing. Any echo? Testing 1, 2, 3. Okay. Testing 1, 2, 3. Mic check, mic check. Testing 1, 2, 3. Well, because it's not coming out of the speaker, so I don't think. But it could be something internal with your sound card.
Good. No,
Testing, testing. That was it? Sounds good?
I also turned out.
Is there an echo?
I turned out the
Sounds good.
thing. Do it one more time.
Testing, testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. It's good?
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
I just hear it's fine. All good. I'll fix. Yeah, let's go. Yeah, but there was definitely some kind of weird echo in there. Turn this mic on right here. This one's on, right? Test one, test one. Hip, hop, the hippie to the hippity, hip, hip, hoppy. Don't. I'm gonna do my. Shit. All right. Let me see. I want to hear my rap real quick. Oh yeah, that sounds good.
Jack my headphones.
All right, Chris, turn the camera on.
Jack my headphones.
What? Oh, I'm sorry, but I was using it for because these fucking new phones nowadays don't have jacks anymore. I was wondering if the Bluetooth was on with this. No, that happened.
had it muted. That's
Oh. I'm just trying to blame you somehow, Chris. I don't know how, but all right, ready? Hit the video, Chris.
Video, we are on. We are live.
We back.
Take two. All right, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the American Cholo Podcast. Broadcasting live and directly from North Hollywood, California. My name is Gil. I am the American Cholo. And of course, we got Boo Boo's Beard in the house.
Oh, yeah. That's how you know we lie, because we're going to
We-
definitions. We having problems.
We fix it and edit, homeboy. Don't even
That's
trip.
right, that's right.
Wait, tomorrow this won't even exist, goddamn. That's the beauty of editing, man.
Yep.
So, our next guest is a former inmate of California women's prison who is on a mission to expose how California's transgender policy has negatively affected female inmates. Please give a warm welcome to Amie Ichikawa. See, look at that. You had a little time to get the butterflies
bugs
out of
out.
here. Yeah,
Yeah.
right? Nah, it's all family. How we doing, Amie?
I'm good.
How was that drive?
It was horrendous,
Horrible.
Welcome to LA, Holmes.
but it was worth it. It was well worth it.
That's right. That's what we wanna
'cause
hear,
you
man.
on the show.
All right, so let's just jump into it, man. Where were you born and raised?
Harbor City, California.
Harbor City? Oh,
My whole life.
In the Harvard area.
From the Harbor.
That's right.
I had a really good childhood, a great time in school. My dad's a retired sheriff.
oh, you come from a sheriff family
that's
at that.
Yeah, so
From law
I
enforcement.
I had a lot of issues with the law.
Happened, Amy? What happened? Do you think it had
You didn't follow
anything?
the footsteps.
You think it had anything to do with maybe you're pushing back towards the family?
business.
Yeah,
Is that what it was?
a lot. Yeah.
And
Just had to struggle with authority. I didn't really have a realistic idea of consequences either. I didn't know, you do things and you get in trouble, and you're gonna pay prices. You're gonna
and why do you think you didn't have an idea? Because it would be like leaning on you too much, or
lack of discipline.
from your parents?
Yeah.
And were your parents together at the time? Was it-
Mm-hmm.
They were just busy with work, or
Yeah.
Just.
I mean, my dad
if
was
your dad's
really
sheriff, then
busy.
he was never home then.
Right. He was very busy. My mom worked, until I was maybe in high school. So I
Yeah.
was already done.
You an only child?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, you had a lot of time on your hands.
I did. Yeah. So, but I waited till late in life to really screw up, really get in a lot of trouble.
Nice.
You did it the right way.
I can't say nice no more. I got haters.
You did it the American way. Yeah, they're gonna upset at you.
They get
I
mad at me.
waited.
You did it the American way. You say, I'm gonna wait.
I'm gonna get mature first.
Right. Well, you would think that it would I mean, but then again, I'm just assuming. I'm assuming that your dad's a sheriff, that you're gonna be really disciplined, that he's gonna be strict on you and all that stuff. But he
He was busy. He just, he wasn't there. He was there, but
he was busy trying to provide a roof over your head, pay the bills, do what a man's supposed to do.
Yep.
Yep.
And I
Right.
was real smooth. I was a
he
smooth
lost you in the long
operator.
run.
Yeah.
He lost
They didn't
you.
know,
Yeah.
that I was as screwed up as I was. I hid it pretty well for a while until, I got cracked.
Now, were you when you say screwed up, were you like having depression when you were young? Were you just like feeling not maybe the family love? What was it?
You know what? I had a lot of identity issues because of the fact that I didn't culturally identify with either side. I kind of was lost. I was looking for something.
What do you mean culturally identify with you?
I didn't really identify with being Japanese.
Oh, so that's what you're okay. Japanese, and who was Japanese? Was that your
My
father's?
dad.
Okay, and
So he's a
your mother?
Japanese sheriff. She's white, so
So you're Japanese and white. Okay.
and I didn't really connect with anything on that level. So I was always looking for something to belong to, something to identify with.
I think we all do at that age.
So I was like, oh, I like it here. I'm gonna stay in the hood.
Oh, okay, so the streets finally got you then,
Mm-hmm.
and then what were you doing out on the streets? Were you?
Well, when I got arrested, I had a great job. I had a couple cars. I had an apartment, but it was in 2009, and gas prices were so high. So I, I convinced myself that it was okay to sell dope on the weekends, and that's what I was
Oh,
doing.
you're the weekend dope dealer.
Weekend warrior. Yeah.
You gonna say something? You
I
said-
was, but I forgot. No. So did when you started venturing out, did you venture in the gang world, or you were just
I was like an independent
person,
salesperson.
salesperson?
yes, independent.
So you never got into the
salesperson.
gang world.
No, I love them very much, but no, I didn't become an active gang member. I didn't even get that active until I was in my early 20s, and that, I mean,
You're a late bloomer.
yes, even the cops when I got arrested were like, "You're old. What are you doing?"
And this was your first offense that you ended up going to prison?
Yes,
Your
yes.
first real offense.
Yes, this was the first time I'd ever been
Got arrested?
Arrested,
And you went straight to
period.
prison?
Yes.
No way.
The first time you had cuffs on you like that.
Yes.
They didn't even slap you on the wrist, but
No.
like, don't do it again.
No, and I'm so blessed. I'm so lucky because anybody else who has a story even closely related to mine is not coming home.
Right. Hey, Chris, you want to put that mic
So
down?
how
real
much
quick?
time did you do for the first time?
5.
Damn.
5. But I was fighting life for a while.
Now, can you talk to us about the case?
Yeah,
You weren't kidnapping puppies, right? And selling them for ransom.
no.
Okay.
There was a young lady that owed my co-defendant $20.
How much?
20?
20.
Okay. Dub. Okay. This is getting
Yeah,
interesting.
for a dub sack.
Yeah.
And one thing just
Never seen a Bronx Tale, man? Just
Well,
paying to
I mean,
leave?
I had watched how many episodes of Cops and the first 48 with my dad for years since I was a little girl. So he was like, "What happened?"
Yeah.
But the young lady that owed for the sack was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and she was kidnapped at gunpoint. Boy, and things could have gone a lot worse than they did because we're all in the situation are very blessed and lucky that things happened the way they did, because they're
It just escalated very quickly, huh?
very quickly.
Now, was it something that she was owed money? I mean, you guys were owed the money, and then within a week, 2 weeks, or was it something you guys were actually plotting? I mean,
No, not at all. She just happened to be walking down the street.
and you guys were there pumped up, and
Well, I was like, I have to go to work. I have to leave. No. And then, one thing leads to another, and I'm not gonna like not
You're not gonna rank
take
out.
the gun. I'm not gonna rank out. Yeah. And then, things started to get really scary. It was a long, drawn out evening. I was disoriented because after driving around for so many hours,
you had her in the car,
Mhm.
and you guys just kind of
just driving
talking
around.
shit to her,
Yeah.
and-
So she was in the back seat.
And what's this poor lady? This poor young
Crying.
lady. I bet.
Just crying, and then at one point it was just she and I told her like, hey, chill out. I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna make sure you get home okay. I'm freaked out too. And she's still, that what
Of
kind of comfort is
course,
that? What kind of
yeah.
comfort is that? That's not.
She probably thinks you're lying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can only imagine like the PTSD and stuff she deals with to this
Absolutely.
day, But there was one point where I thought she was gonna die. I don't know how we got to this point, but I'm running and I'm running to her, and the gun misfires. So I just picked her up and said, "Let's go," and we left. And then I was arrested. No, there was already an APB out for both of us, and there's not too many like large Asians and stuff
Running the block.
fitting my description. So the whole all of Long Beach PD was looking for us.
So how long after that were you arrested?
About an hour.
Oh, that quick.
Yeah.
So your life changed very quickly, and yours and the victim, obviously, that changed very quickly within an hour. How long was it before you ended up getting convicted of the crime? In other words, how long were you fighting for?
6 or 7 months.
Okay, so you were fighting for a minute.
Not too long, but long enough for me to understand the weight. I mean, my first deal was 25 to life.
And that was a deal.
So you fighting this behind bars, or did you get bailed out?
Oh no, because
No?
the bail was really high because of the nature of the
Crime.
charges. Yeah, each potential life charge carries like $1 million. So I think mine was at 2.5.
What did your father and mother tell you?
My dad was there the very next day. He was there in lockup just hours after I got up there, and he was like, "What happened?" And he was so supportive. He came up to see me every month for 5 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good pops right there. Man.
He's a good guy.
And that you, I'm sure throughout that time you appreciated Dad much more.
So much that, that's my ride or die. I'll do anything for that guy. But, it was the craziest thing. Like, it was very surreal. I had a hard time understanding this was really happening. I was telling the detectives, like, hey, I really have to go to work.
Oh, shit.
I was like, are you just going to charge me and let me go? Because I have to go. And then they found pictures of me and my dad in my phone, and they were like, oh, it's your dad, huh? You're never going to see him again. And I was like, oh, whatever you want to hear. And I did, tell him, well, yeah, I beat her up. I'm sorry. Can I just go? And they were like, no, you're not going to go. You're not going to leave. You're not going to be on the streets for a long time, if ever. And I still didn't understand.
You don't understand the magnitude of what you just got into right now.
No. And then, now being an adult, well, I was an adult then too, but being older, telling the story, I'm like, what?
What was going through my mind?
Yeah. How did I get so far from, oh.
Now, how were your days in the county jail? How long did it take you to finally kind of get used to that thing?
So you were in Twin Towers?
No, I was in Linwood. Yeah, during the time of the illegal strip searches, there was a huge lawsuit for that. There was unlawful cavity and strip searches just
at the females' prison
in the jail, in the county jail. They would just make people strip out in a garage, in the open. It was just like a chain link fence, 50 to 100 ladies.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
And they got a lawsuit pending on that?
It was huge. I think it was, oh gosh, I don't know how many 100 million. It was a big one.
It got settled.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
It was really big.
And were these LA sheriffs or just LA sheriffs?
Mm-hmm. And it was, so many. There were 500,000 plaintiffs. It's crazy. It was intense, though. It was very important. It was a pivotal point because there were some women, there was one woman in particular who said no. She said, no, I'm not going to do that. And none of us had ever seen that happen.
The defiance.
A woman or anybody just say, no, you can't. No.
I'm not stripping
No.
out here.
Yeah.
Right. So it was crazy. There was a lot of women that were taken aback by that.
That was
wow,
the
she
Rosa
could
Parks
say no.
moment.
Yes. Yes.
Right?
Very much so. And it stuck with a lot of us.
And after she did that, what did they do with her?
Nothing. They just sent her right back to her cell. But still, it gave people hope even to this day.
Absolutely.
There's people that still talk about that incident, that that was the first time I ever saw a woman say no about something regarding her body. And it's important. I got to write something about it someday, but it was horrible. County jail is a nightmare. There's a whole module for MRSA at that time, what is this, the dark ages? It was
What's MRSA?
Yeah. An infection that is resistant to antibiotics. Yeah. So this was unlike anything I'd ever seen in my life.
Is it dorm living? Is it cell living in the county there?
It's cells.
How many to a cell?
Just 2.
Okay.
And I always had very interesting cellies because I was in an interesting position. So they would put me with very colorful characters.
That's a nice way to put it.
Very colorful.
Very colorful character.
But I had never seen the level of violence like that before. I had never seen, women fight like that. I had never heard people's heads smashing on, sinks or
slabs, concrete.
I was just mortified. That level of violence was something I wasn't
accustomed to.
Not at all. You see stuff in movies, you fight here and there, but nothing prepares you quite for what happens behind bars.
Well, especially if you've never been in jail. I can understand if you were a young lady going out of jail and you kind of get, you're kind of getting your feet wet and what this life is gonna, what you got coming. But you're coming straight off of like, regular person thinking it's a video game.
Yes.
And now you're facing life in prison. So in county, did it prepare you for prison?
No,
That was real quick.
not at all. Not at all.
What were you hearing when you're in the county jail from the ladies that have been there? What are they trying to tell you? Are they trying
That
to
it's better. It's better, honey. It's better. You're gonna be so much happier when you get there. You'll be able to wiggle your toes in the grass. You'll feel the breeze again, and it's better.
Oh, sounds like a good place. Huh?
But I mean, in that sense,
It's better than county.
yeah.
Yes,
In that sense, there was a lot more freedom, and it wasn't like such a confined, depressing, like dreary existence, and there wasn't being stripped out every 5 minutes. But I mean, so it is an improvement. It's definitely.
How was that bus ride for you? You get convicted, and now you're for the first time taking that bus ride with the shackles. I'm sure around your arms. You got the whole thing. You got the leg things, and now you're jumping on is it a van or are they taking a bus?
It's a bus. It was a bus, and there was a few of us. I was really anxious, because I mean, there's no way out of this. So I was like, all right, I gotta jump into this. I gotta keep my head on the swivel. I have to be prepared. I have to be aware. I have to pay attention. And there was just so much stuff. There were people packing. There was a woman she had packed so much stuff that she was making herself sick. Like she was gonna barf because she couldn't have it. And I said, "What are you packing? Makeup?" And I was like, "Oh no, okay, all right, okay, I can do this." And we got there, and it was so hot. It was like 112 degrees. So it felt like I was stepping directly into hell.
And where's there?
Yeah.
Chowchilla.
Famous Chowchilla. Where exactly
Where's that, is it?
Yeah. What city's
Oh,
it?
Chowchilla.
I know.
It's in Madeira.
I still don't know. Is it up north, down
It's
south?
up north. It's in the Central Valley. It's in Madeira near Fresno. About 25, 30 minutes from Fresno.
So it gets hot and it gets cold.
Yes.
You happen to get
Yes.
there in the heat.
Oh, it was so hot. I couldn't believe it. It was like it hit me like somebody opened an oven, and I was like, "Oh man, this is life. This is where it's at. This is where I'm gonna be." And it looks. I mean, I'm trying to take everything in and trying to assess the situation, and you just can't. It's completely foreign. It was foreign to me. So I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. And then you get processed, you get stripped out again. But this time it's a little different. Because it's making it so real. Like you're here, you're state property. You're not you anymore. You're a number. And I talked to the sergeants or the lieutenants or something, talk to you, and one of them sat me down and he said, "What is your last name?" And he said, "I think you're the only one I've ever met before." I said, "Well, I would assume so." And he said, "I hope that you never come back here again." I said, "I certainly hope the same. Thank you very much." And then they let you right out into the yard, and you go to receiving, and I was shocked. I had thought there were so many young women there. Young, like 18, and I was calling home saying, "There's children here. They have children incarcerated here." We're like, "No, I think they're just young, honey." But it was wild. I saw another fight there, and I'm just crying like, "Oh my gosh, the carnage!" And then I finally went to see my counselor, and I asked her, "Can I please go to CIW? It's so much closer to my parents." She said, "No." I didn't think so. "No, you will never." I said, "Okay, great."
Now, is that like, do they have levels like in the men's prison? So pretty much
Everybody's thrown into one pod.
And it's fine. It's fine. It's not wonderful, but there are no separations related to levels, the nature of your crime, race, gang affiliation, nothing. We make it work. There's people that, killed their whole family that are housed with people that stole boxers from Walmart, and it's all right. women are nesters. We create families. Everybody has a little unit. Like, oh, that's my aunt, that's my mom, that's my play sister, that's my uncle. It happens, and it works. But now it's a little different.
We'll get there. So you get there. How many months is reception for you guys? And you're kind of isolated.
It feels like forever.
You're isolated in your own dorms or your own cells in reception, own unit.
Yes, yes. There's the whole yard. It's just it's death row. It's
Oh, they even have death row in there. Ooh, how many women house there? Do you know?
Well, now everybody's off. Everybody's pushed off.
But are they still on death row? They hit the main.
They're on the main line now.
Okay, yeah, because they're not killing anybody in California anymore.
No, and even there's been a ruling. Even if they want to stay on the row, they have to get off now. So the people who are going to have I don't know how that's going to work, because there's people that need to be back there for their own protection. So I don't.
So how is that in women's prison? As far as like, is there crimes that you can't walk the main line, or because I've seen where some girls are in there for killing their own babies and stuff like that, but they're with the general population, right? It's not like the men's prison where they're going to get killed.
No, that doesn't really happen. They get the blues. People give them a hard time, but it's not like you think. It's not like they're gonna come right off and they get brutalized.
How about when it comes to any kind of like child molestation? Same thing. No, it's quite different.
It's very different. The politics are very emotional. It's not there's not very definitive guidelines like on the other side. You never know what's coming.
So now that you're off reception, where is the first unit you go to, and is it dorm also, or is it a cell?
Everything over there, it's their dorms, their units.
Okay.
So within the unit, there's 4 hallways, and I think 8 rooms to a hallway. 8 rooms to a hallway. So there's A, B, C, and D hall. 32 rooms, 8 people in each cell. So these were originally designed for 4. They threw the bunk beds in, so there's 8. So this isn't like a 2-man cell. So when you talk about, this person has single cell status or this or that, this is like an apartment that you're in.
How big is the cell? Is it something like from here to the wall?
Oh no, like from here to the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So not from here to the wall.
No, but from here.
I'm just getting her back for the Chowchilla comment she got me on. So not from here to the wall, but from here to the wall, right?
Yes.
How about the width? A little bit less?
Well, this is about accurate, yeah.
Okay, so you got
and then there's a shower.
Inside of that cell?
Mm-hmm. There's a huge shower. There's not huge. There's
don't make it sound too nice.
It's not fancy. There's the shower, and there's like a cowboy door, like
half door or something.
Yeah, it covers you from about the neck to the knees. Not even the neck. I'm sorry, from like about.
But you got to be a certain height, because if you're taller, then you're assed out.
You're screwed.
You're
screwed. Then there's the toilet that has the similar, cowboy style door, and there's 4 living areas. There's one, which is the freeway. Nobody wants to be there because it's in the middle of the room, no privacy.
There's in the middle.
Well, it seems like it, because you walk in,
yeah,
and there's just a bunk bed right here. It's against the wall. The head is against the wall. Then there's lockers, a window, 2, 3, 4.
So does the new booty get that?
Yes.
Right? I would figure. So you go in there, you're the new booty, you're sitting by the freeway. That's your first thing. And do you get approached right as soon as you get there? How's that work? Like,
well, I was told specifically, you'll be fine as long as you don't go to DR Unit 515.
You went to
room 1.
And that's exactly where you went?
Yes. And I was like, oh no.
What is so notorious about this room?
It was just a rough environment. It was rough, but you know what? When I left that place, I shook that lady's hand, told her thank you for teaching me a lot. Thank you for humbling me and teaching me how to sweep, because I didn't know.
Oh, it was a mean girl in there.
God rest her soul.
Oh, man. How long has she been in there for?
She had been in there for probably 20 years by the time I got there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And she was already notorious in the prison.
Very. You can't make noise. You got to wake up at dark 30 to clean, and you can't make any noise.
Ah, that was her.
That was her.
That was her reglas.
Yes.
In other words, she ran her place. This is where I live. And was she a lifer there? So pretty much, I'll kill you. Or I mean,
No.
that's what I mean, that's the only thing I would think. Like,
No,
yeah.
you don't have like in with women, you don't have to even go that far. You just let them know you're gonna get the blues. You're gonna have a hard time, and I think women are programmed a lot and already desensitized to the point where they're already gonna be docile. They're a lot of women are just gonna be like, oh, okay, that's
I
the
don't
way
want
it
the
is.
problem.
That's the way it is. But it was good practice.
How long were you in that cell with her for?
Oh gosh, maybe 2 months.
But and then after that, you asked for a transfer, or they transferred you yourself?
I got pulled to another yard
Okay.
and went to completely off of that yard to the next yard, which was like Shangri-La. They got through that gate and there were trees and flowers and rose bushes, and I think there was like a rosemary plant. It was amazing. All of those things are gone now, by the way. But it was a good move. It was healthy. But I still, have a lot of respect for that lady. I didn't know that there are certain things. I was sweeping, thinking I was doing a great job. I'm being helpful, and she was cooking, and I didn't realize how
The dust was going
problematic
everywhere.
that is, because I never really had to think about anybody but myself. And I was like, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But I appreciate the time. Every single second I spent there, I appreciate it because it was learning.
So how was the program for you now that let's say you're in there for a year, right? What was your daily routine for you?
Well, I worked. We all work. Everybody works every day. The first year was hard. I got beat up. It wasn't easy, just trying to learn the ropes.
What'd you get beat up?
Just cause, I
You swept too much?
yeah, I was too sweepy. No, there's definitely some, there's a lot of bullies. There's definitely,
I can see that.
hurt people, and, I unfortunately had a run in with a very hurt person. I had a open lower bunk, and that hurt person got that lower bunk, and was a very manipulative person. And I was just somehow convinced that I couldn't fight back because I was going to get in so much trouble. So I fell into that, and I lived like that for a while until the cops were like, "Hey, come here," finally. And they were like, "Take your shirt off." I said, "What is this? What is this?" They said, "No, we heard some stuff's going on." So then they moved me. But those are the kind of things that have to happen in order to get a bed move for, just a woman, a regular average individual in there. It's not easy. You have to either be in extreme danger or have a lot of hookups. So bed moves are a very special thing. You'll understand this later when I break down the other things. But
Right. So what kind of job were you doing over there?
I worked in the kitchen for a long time, for a lot of years. I learned a lot of things in there. I became an expert at stealing tortillas. This is this is like commerce. This is like
Yeah.
money. And then eventually, I was so good that I got arrogant. I got a little haughty, and I did get busted for a lot of hard-boiled eggs.
I thought Big Al came and said, "No tortillas for you."
Yeah. No, it was all eggs. The cops were like, "What?" And I was like, "Hold on, get another pan." You've got to be kidding me. And I was like,
What are you doing? Going and slanging the eggs over
"We're
back
gonna
in the
make
yard?
egg salad sandwiches for lunch." Well, because people want a variety. They want to be able to cook. Women miss, homemaking and making lunch, making breakfast. And the state food is deplorable. When you have a budget of like $214 billion and you are spending less than $3 a day on people for food, that's crazy. I think it's $2 and maybe 21 cents now or something, but that's insane with the amount of funding they get.
You would think that not even men's prison, maybe it's a little more difficult because of the violence a lot of times, but you would think like in women's prison, they would have their own farms. That'd be a great thing. Go out there.
I think they do. They do have. There's a little farm, but they're
You
not.
would think they would have
They're not allowed to, I think, use or take their own vegetables. I don't think
Right, that would make some sense.
it would make wonderful sense, like a farmer's market.
Yeah, and it gives no, and it also gives it gives women or inmates in general an incentive to do good. In other words, hey man, you program, you don't get any write ups, you're doing good, you get to go work
You
on the
get a
farm.
tomato.
And-
Yeah,
you get to grow your own tomato
Yes.
and bring it back.
And it's very therapeutic, you
Yes.
know. And there were a lot of things brewing before I left, like that could have been like legitimately resulting in rehabilitation and helping people heal and stuff. But the current environment doesn't allow that at
Now,
all.
when you say the current environment is allowed that, what exactly do you mean? Because some people will sit there and say, well, it's up to the inmates.
Wow, and a lot of people will say, tell them to handle. They can take care of this. No,
You do the crime, do the time.
yeah, but this is different. This is like an additional sentence on top of your sentence. This is cruel and unusual at this point. Something that could have been, beneficial to a small part of the community is now detrimental to everybody. It specifically, it shouldn't have been like this. Has to be guidelines, there has to be safeguards, but there aren't. And it's just allowed for
Everyone for himself.
everyone.
That's what it seems like it's about in there.
It's wild.
It's more that the strongest is gonna survive.
And
Survival of the strongest. There it is.
and that's not where that's not where that's not where they're at.
Yeah.
That's not the culture in there is extremely different.
That's the code for check your phone, Chris. Okay, Chris would have made it in the pinta, homie. Chris.
I was gonna go check mine. I was like, all right.
Yeah, check your phone, Chris. Check your phone. How many years into your sentence did it start changing? Because that's why you're here, because you're part of a movement, and talk to us about the movement that you're part of.
Well, there's a few of us who are ready to tell the truth, who really want to provide a platform for our people. They are not being heard. They're not even comfortable to talk because they're afraid of being retaliated against. So what I'm trying to do is safely give them a way to voice their concerns and express what is happening to them. And it's hard to do it with and just stay on course.
Right.
There's a lot of different directions I could go, but the bottom line is I have to give the women their voices back because they don't have one. Mainstream media won't hear about it. They don't want to talk about it. They're controlled. Everybody's controlled.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So because there's so many entities that are financially supported by this specific movement, it's hands off. It's completely hands off. And since I don't have any funding, I can do whatever I want. So
Yeah,
just kidding. Sorry, Liz, you're watching.
Hey, you came to the right place, because over here we're not worried about cancellation. We're not worried. We're here for the truth. And unfortunately now in today's world, the truth seems not to matter anymore.
It doesn't. It doesn't matter if I'm just like handing them the truth with diagrams and pie charts. They're like, you're a
No one
transphobe.
cares.
Get out of here.
Yeah, well, that's the key thing nowadays. If you're against something, you're a homophobe, or you're a racist, or you're any way to kind of shut you down and keep you quiet. But I mean, the issue that they're having in women's prison right now is you're having transgender, quote unquote, females going into these prisons, right? They've been with you in a cell with 7 other women, or eventually it might be where you have 2 or 3 transgender and you got 3 or 4 women in there.
Wait a minute. You're saying that there's actual men in this?
And that's the problem.
women's
yeah,
prison?
that's the problem. That
So you're
there's
saying that like a
there's
man can go sit there? Say for instance, me.
you could go in there with your beard.
and just sit there and say I'm transgender. That's who I identify myself with, and go to a women's prison.
Yes.
That's insane, dude.
It states it's called SB 132. It's called the Transgender Respect Agency and Dignity Act, right? And the way it was marketed is it's as if they're reissuing these rights that were taken away, but nobody has those rights in CDCR. So you give those rights to a specific group. This has created a very dangerous privilege group. So you go to committee, yet it is completely excluded.
And they're putting you guys in the same cell.
Yes.
It's insane.
And
But
if
they
you
didn't even do that in the county.
and if you complain, it's a
Like-
problem. You're gonna get retaliated
like-
against.
When I was in the county, the transgender, they were in their own area.
Discriminatory.
Yeah, because they just separated us for
But you
whatever
can't do that
reason.
anymore.
But
Because of that law. But that law doesn't take into effect
No.
the reality of it.
Actually, I think it was PREA. That was before SB 132. The Prison Rape Elimination Act stated that you couldn't house people, you couldn't separate them based just on their gender identity or their sexual orientation or whatever. So that made a lot of things very complicated because it's discriminatory. So there are then people that are like heterosexual men that are moving into the women's prison, but you can't say anything because it is discriminatory. So you can't say, "Oh, you can't go over there because you're a serial rapist with a beard." No, because you can't list physical attributes as a reason why they can't
so
go.
you're saying these are these 8-person cells. 4 could be actual women. 4 can be transgender, which are men. And you guys are using the same restroom facilities?
Yeah.
Like, are
And
they
you
like-
live together.
Are they
I
seriously
mean-
like standing up, like to use the
Oh,
restroom?
well,
It's like,
at-
hey man, like clean up after yourself.
They actually did just install urinals in the porta potties on the yards, and I've gotten a few messages that have said like, how much more degrading can
That's
this get?
insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if these are women that are coming over, then why would they need a urinal? Because they're not.
Exactly. They're still.
See,
they
but
still
They're
have
not,
their-
and there's no requirement for gender reassignment, sexual reassignment surgery. There's no requirement for
I could even
hormones.
see that. I could see.
Yeah, absolutely.
I could see if they've got it chopped off, then I could see okay.
Yeah, because you make that kind of commitment.
Well, yeah, because they're strip searching you anyway, so obviously you're gonna see,
Yeah,
if it's there or not.
But-
and if it's there, they shouldn't put them in. If it's,
No, absolutely.
But
not.
even if it's not, because these transgender, I mean, they're physically more stronger than a woman.
but then with respect to the community members who have worked hard, who have bled out to get the trans rights in the prison, this is a huge disservice to them too, because they could potentially lose the things that they fought for because of these fools that can't. That don't want to be in the men's joint because they can't handle it, and they're predators. They're about to. Their hard work
but they
is on the
should lose
line.
that because that's insane. That just the overcorrection is they've gone way overboard. How are you gonna put? And it's not like we're talking about some. I could see if it's some little kids and you have maybe 5-year-old kids and not even maybe kids, even little kids maybe go to the pool together or something. You're talking about adults. You're talking about criminals here.
Yeah.
They're tall.
No, they're dudes. I mean, on the street, you want to call yourself Susie and wear a
No,
dress?
but these
Go
are not
on.
people. These are not people who even have a history of gender dysphoria or people who identify
that'd be
on the
like-
streets. They're
They're
switching
taking
up
advantage of the system.
because what's happening is women's prison is now men's PC overflow.
Wow.
That's what this is.
shit.
That's what this
I didn't think of
is.
it that way.
That's what this is. We're stuck with people that can't go anywhere else. Literally.
They're done on the PC yards.
They're
on the
done.
general mainline yards.
And you know that there's gangs in the PC yards, right? Right?
absolutely.
I mean, there's a hostile takeover going on right now, and it's documented, and it's in the
And
lawsuit.
in women's prisons?
Yes. Yes.
So they're coming over there trying to set up shop in your guys.
Yes, because it's a gold mine. Who wouldn't? Who wouldn't? There's this thing they do. Some of them will say stick to the plan when they see each other, and
Shit.
you know how scary that is for women who've just been quietly doing their time and going to hobbycraft and knitting for like 20 or 30 years. When somebody says that every time they see him, just very ominous and flat. Stick to the plan. What is the plan? Oh no. It's intimidating. The psychological warfare is out of this world. And I tried to tell people like they're not ready. They're not ready.
Nobody's ready for that. That's
No.
insane. That's insanity. But that's what's going on in California. I took this real personal once I heard it because my mom's been in prison before many years back. Shout out to my moms. And I could only imagine having a phone call with my mom and her telling him, "Mijo, there's a guy here with me, and I don't want him in my cell, but there's nothing I can do to him." And
They
my-
can't even say it on the phone. They're afraid to say it on the phone. Because
No, that
they're
is so
afraid
wrong.
to say it on the phone. There's women that are like, I can't tell you. Don't ask me how today was. I don't want to get disappeared. Just know it's bad.
Now, how many transgenders are there right now in women's prisons?
Right now,
roughly?
there's 40 right now. 40 between CIW and CCWF. But there are a handful within that 40 that are very unwell, and they are people that had no place else to go. There's people that are there on court orders, not because of this law, but court orders because there was no place else to put them safely. But this is not the deal. That wasn't the deal. This wasn't supposed to be a PC overflow.
Who's that guy?
That's in the UK.
Is that the UK? Is that what? But that's what's coming to a city near you.
Yeah. I
Right?
mean,
This one says it's a picture of. That's a man.
Yeah.
Meet Karen. Karen was sent to a women's prison. Karen has a penis, sexually assaulted 2 women in prison. 22 more male prisoners are living in women prisons. Some are rapists. Sign a petition to get dangerous people out. So that's what's going on.
and the statistics, like numbers are non-transphobic. So right now there's 287 pending moves, right? Out of those 287, 33.8% are registered sex offenders. So you're a registered sex offender, meaning this isn't even your first term as a sex offender because you had time to go out, register, and then come back. This is a very big imbalance because the average population, I think, is 17% that are sex offenders. So this jumps up to 33.8. So this is putting everybody at risk. The trans women, everybody's at risk because the same people you want to get away from are getting the same access as you are. You're getting a direct line right to the women's prison to this huge victim pool.
Exactly what it is.
And it really, I feel, I don't know if I'm out of pocket, but when the man came off a shoe, we were happy because that was horrible. That's cruel and unusual punishment. However, there's been nothing but retaliation for the whole community from CDCR since then. So there's the forced integration now, right? The SNY yards, mainline, everybody's together. And then who gets left with, the short end of the stick? The women do. They're paying for everything. And they don't even know it.
And what's the consensus in the prisons? Like, if you had to do like a poll with the women in here, were some women like thinking it was a good thing they're gonna have some of these come over, or?
I think that they, in a sense, they felt obligated, like, these, because the way it was shot to them, it was like, these are people who are victims of extreme violence, and they need a safe place to do their time. Well, if you put it like that, certainly come on over. We'll take care of you. And that's not what they sent.
That's not what's going over there.
That's not what they sent at all.
Wolf in sheep's clothing is coming over.
And there were so many blatant lies that women were included in the frameworking, that they had a say in this. That's not true. They didn't have any choices.
So when this law came into effect, how many? Because obviously it's the lawmakers that do this. How many women? How many men? Do you know what was it like? 10 women and 11 men that voted for this. How many women actually voted for this?
In like as elected state officials?
Yes.
All of them. The California Women's Caucus all voted yes for this.
Wow.
All of them. I hit them up all the time. They block me because I want to know, why do you hate us? Why do you hate us? For what? What did we do to you? The final vote was 25-9. Big shout out to the 9 people who voted no.
Were the 9 all men?
No. I think maybe Senator Shannon Grove voted no. But they were all, conservative, all Republicans. But it's really hard to, we're trying to find out how to make amendments because we don't want to throw the trans women that need to be there under the bus, So
is this only a California law or is this?
No, it's about to pass in New York. It's in action in New Jersey, Washington. Canada, the whole state. The whole country.
Hey, but I can almost guess that it hasn't gone the other way around. That there's no women trying to get into men's prisons.
No, not at all.
But if they wanted to, they could.
If
they said, I feel like I'm a man.
Well, there are trans men in the prison, and they get treated even worse. You know, they get the blues from the officers all the time because of like whatever, any tangible evidence. But you can only imagine.
Oh yes, of
You
course.
can only imagine.
Has
They
there been
did
rapes in
put,
there?
well, not that I can prove, but there's a lot
you
of
know what's
stuff.
going
There's
on.
stuff that's going on that is going to be like damaging for people's entire lives. There's irreparable mental damage that's going on right now. You can't be, you know, a victim of sexual abuse and have to see what's going on and be okay at all. You can't. There's a couple of pregnancies in New Jersey that went down. Those were actually, you know, documented. But the CDCR has a really good. They have they're very talented at hiding things, suppressing information.
yes.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, people have said, I don't want to disappear. Like, I can't talk to you. I can't. Like, that's it. And they just shut down because they're afraid.
Now, what kind of stuff is the staff doing to people out
The
there?
same thing that the other people are doing. There was a staff who was just charged with 22 counts of sexual misconduct.
Oh shit.
Wow.
Like a month ago. So how do you expect staff to protect?
when they're
yeah.
doing it,
So the rape culture that has
it's like a free for all
flourished there, it's crazy. It's crazy. And there's nobody who's really advocating. There's nobody else that's really telling the truth that this is insane.
Now, how difficult is it? Let's say I'm in prison. I've been there for 5 years. I got 25 to life or something, right? And I decide, you know what? I'm a female. I'm gonna make my way to the promised land.
Yeah, you're good.
How long is the process, and what kind of loops do they have to jump through to get in there?
Not many. I actually got a public information request from CDCR not too long ago, and they said, I asked them, I said, what are the requirements? What has to happen? Well, they have to go to in front of a special committee that has, you know, a member from each level of, you know, medical, a CC1, CC2, CC3, and they evaluate, you know, whether or not this would be an appropriate move. They check for safety and behavior issues, but who's being denied? I don't think anybody. I asked, what are the specific reasons that you could base a denial on? There aren't any. And not only that, but if you are denied, they have to give you in writing within like 24 hours the reason why. Nobody wants to write a report.
And they don't want to get sued in case they
No.
put some in there.
No. So it's even there was a deputy director of parole who came forward and said, just validated everything I said and said, this is what's happening. This is literally what's happening. There's no safeguards.
What is so difficult about putting transgenders in their own unit?
It's because it's isolation, you know, it's separation, it's exclusionary.
But couldn't you sign like a waiver where, okay, either you're gonna go to the main line, you're gonna go to the PCR, and if you don't want to go to any one of those, you can sign a waiver giving up the rights, and you can go to your own unit. But they just don't want to do that.
They don't. But there, I've been in touch with plenty of people, like trans women that are in the men's joint, and they're like, all this stuff is urban legend. Like, this is fake. The politicians are making this up.
Yeah, maybe back in the 70s there was a bunch of raping and all kind of stuff like that.
But not now.
Yeah, not now.
Like, I have a friend's like, no, I am on a level 3 main line, and if I get raped, it's going to be a problem. That doesn't happen. She said, I program the same as everybody else, and when I walk out of my cell, I'm at risk the same as everybody else for the same dangers. There's not an increased risk of anything for me. But that's not what the media is saying. That's not what the politicians are saying. That's not what these statistics they cook up. I don't even know where they come
but
from.
the media is not even saying it. I had no clue this was going on.
Because it's so quiet. It really is. I mean, we have a full-blown lawsuit. Everything is active, but people don't talk about it, and that's why I've been waiting. Like, I was so excited when you hit me up because I was like, "This, I have to." I've specifically been waiting for this opportunity because what it's going to take is for people who care or who have experienced a woman being locked up that they love. I need their attention. I need their attention bad because these people out here, these regular normies, these other Americans, they don't care because they can't. You can't force them to care about something that doesn't matter to them.
Right, but the thing is that they have to understand, and you're kind of the perfect person to bring this out there because you come from a good family. I mean, your dad was a sheriff. You were not out there in the streets being a criminal as a young person, which doesn't mean a bad person, but you are the person that they could find themselves making a mistake one night, and let's say got drunk at the Christmas company party, killed somebody, and all of a sudden they're in prison as a female, but now you're sitting across from a guy because you didn't give a shit.
And that's what, and I really try and drive that point home. Like, if you don't care about these women now, if you don't do something now, you have no idea what's to come, because this is nothing but a science project.
Yes.
They're developing a timeline of how long it's going to take for people to stop caring and how long it's going to take me to shut up before they can bring this science project into the free world full on. And what's going to happen, they're not going to be able to handle it. They're not going to be able to take it. So if they would assist me in fixing this now, it would be amazing. But there's the academics, these collegiates that say stuff like, this is a very small minority of people, and there's only been like 2 reported rapes or something, so that's not enough to matter. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I blow it, but I really have to tone it down because it's inappropriate. But it hurts because these people, they really don't matter. Like, they're forgotten. They have no societal value. So other regular people can't take not even a single minute, not a second to stop and be like, damn, that's messed up. But that's why I have to push it and keep talking about it.
And how did you become the face of this thing?
Because I got a lot of calls in January of 2021. I just started getting all these calls.
How long have you been out?
8 years now.
Okay.
But I stayed in touch with everybody, not everybody, but some select people, and people started reaching out, and I was like, come on, what, are you kidding me? Then I read the law, and I was like, oh no, this is crazy. You can get a bed move at any given time based on your own perception of well-being and personal safety. What? Nobody has that. Like, how is that? So you could just walk up to the cop shop and say, I'd like to move now for my own safety. As a matter of fact, I want that room and I want all of them to get out. And that's mine now.
Oh, shit.
And I was like, oh, no, I got sick. Like, you got to be kidding me. It's untouchable. It's untouchable. And it's a travesty. It's crazy.
It's a pass to do whatever you want.
Mm-hmm. And they're above the law, so there's no consequences. And the women have to sit there and watch people who are assaulting people, people that are abusing women, get arrested and taken to ADSEG for a day or two, and then they come back to the yard like nothing happened. No write-ups, nothing.
And what's staff saying about this stuff? The officers.
Well, a lot of the old heads have gone into retirement because it's hard to watch, But out of all of CCWF, there doesn't seem to be one hero amongst all those employees. There's not just one who is willing to come forward and say, "Wow, this is wrong. I'm not going to do this." I don't know what their pensions are like, but they must be so good.
Out here in the streets.
Just for prison, just for California State Prison. But
what were they trying to get out of that? What was the actual good thing they wanted to get out of it?
Well, allegedly, it was to protect trans women who are the primary victims in this situation. However, how are you protecting them when you give the people that are predators the same rights as them?
No, but it's also what it's doing is saying, screw women,
Mm-hmm.
and we're gonna put the trans women up in the front and give them whatever. No, that's crazy.
Right. And then the trans women that are my partners are like, no, we just want equal protection of the law. That's all we wanted. What's going on? Everybody is being bamboozled by this. That Senator Wiener's a wild one. He's doing some crazy stuff.
Yeah, but people keep voting for this guy, man. He's the same one that put that law about, I think, 12-year-old kids being able to consent to sex with
SB
Yeah.
145,
Wow.
and that's a multiple. There's multiple changes within that law itself. The statutory rape.
Yes.
If it's a 10-year age difference or less, it's up to the judge's discretion whether or not they have to register as a sex offender. The sex offender registry is in 3 tiers now: level 1, 2, and 3. So there's no more lifetime registry. Unless there's like very few very heinous sex crimes that you have to stay on the registry for your life. But everybody else you could petition to get off. Like if you're good for a year, you're off. Like even there, what else? The decriminalization of knowingly passing AIDS on to somebody. Decriminalize that. It's no longer a felony. It's not a crime.
That's Wiener.
There's all kinds of just way out, like gender reassignment surgery for children. You can come from other states
Yeah,
to
we're
get it
talking
done
about
here.
that. Without having to tell the parents.
Right.
but-
There's like, look at the case in Texas. The guy's, his ex-wife is trying to bring the kid over here to transition. And he's like, no.
Yeah, I think the kid's, 8 or 12 years old? And he went to court and he lost. He went to court and he says, no, I don't want my son getting the surgery. And the wife's like, no, he wants to. And in his story, I heard that the wife kind of pushed it on the kid, and he you don't let a child make that kind of surgery.
No.
You wait till he's 18
Yeah, let him figure it out himself.
minimum.
But there's this big push for children to have independence and bodily autonomy because they're people. No, this is why you can't. Kids are going to eat like chocolate chips all
They're
day
children.
for breakfast
They're
and stuff.
children.
You can't. Right. That's why you have parents. That's why you have guardians
Yes.
because you don't know how to make decisions yet. But there's kids who are could walk into Planned Parenthood right now and no need for parental consent and get an abortion, get your hormones, sign up for a double mastectomy, all without the consent of the parent.
No, this is society decaying right in front of our eyes. It really is. The structure of family, the structure of, being a parent and having the right to say with your kid. And it does remind me of like some crazy Greek movie where they want to have sex with kids, and think about it, dude. It's a free for all. In other words, you can let kids make decisions about their body. It's not called pedophilia. It's something else. They're trying to change different names.
Sexual
to it.
orientation. It's
No, it
not
ain't sexual
a crime.
orientation. You're a damn pedophile. And then if I'm sorry, but just like I think the Senator Wiener, he's right. You got a wiener, you're a guy, especially
Yeah.
in prison.
Yeah.
I saw this one lady. She went to I'm not sure. I think it was in San Diego. She went to her council meeting, and she's saying, I go to the gym every day after work, and I'm in the gym. I come out the shower, and there's a guy right there just drying off. And she's like, what the hell? She jumped back in her stall, and she said, I'm in there just shaking. I'm scared. Of course, a woman's,
Yeah.
come on, any regular woman.
But she's wrong.
yes.
She's wrong.
And she's like,
Why are you looking?
I take my she goes, I take my 8-year-old niece there every once in a while.
Well, why is your 8-year-old niece looking at that woman's penis?
That's insane.
Right?
That is insane. And
Because it's 12
if you
inches
ask
long
him,
and it's fucking swinging.
No, it's not.
and if you ask what's a woman, nobody can tell you what a woman is.
No, because it's subjective. But what is a man?
No, it's not subjective. A dog is a dog and a cat is a cat.
Exactly. I'm not a veterinarian, and I know that.
If my parrot can bark, it doesn't make him a dog. He's still a damn parrot that barks.
Right. He's a barking parrot. What's
He's a
wrong with a
barking
barking parrot?
Nothing.
Just like what's wrong with a feminine a feminine little boy or a masculine little girl. It's called a tomboy or,
Yeah, but nowadays not a tomboy. He wants to be a boy. Let's make him into a boy.
Yes, I can imagine like how many people in my generation, like I used to dress like a boy. I thought it was a cholo. I thought, I was wearing my Frisco Benz and my Chucks. I would have been in line automatically for reassignment. And that's not what it was. I was just,
Went through a phase.
Yeah, I just want to dress like a boy. But any of these kids that are slightly aggressive or outside of the gender norm, they're being pushed into this. Same with the prison. That's why I connected with a lot of the parents who are doing this, because I saw the similarities. These are all vulnerable people that this agenda is being pushed onto. Like even in the women's prison, it's very easy to get on testosterone. They even push it in receiving to people that are slightly aggressive or male presenting, like, oh, do you want to get into testosterone while you're here? Don't you want to get on testosterone? Get on it, everybody. Because it's just that goes back to the forced sterilization. They got caught for that. So let's just figure out different ways to depopulate and keep these people from reproducing.
So how do you plan on changing this law? I mean, is that your goal, is to change this law? And
I mean, initially, I really was hoping to get an amendment to where there were requirements. If there was a requirement for sexual reassignment surgery, that would have been ideal. That'd have been perfect, because once the penis is gone from the equation, it's fine, because they're de-weaponized. You know, because you can't ever bring a vagina to a penis fight, because you're gonna lose every single time. And that would have been great. But you know, the farther along I get on the road, I'm starting to think that we just need to eliminate this and start over again.
Well, yeah, because you got a man that's in there, even though he takes his penis off. I mean, he's still built like a man, and he's 10 times stronger than a woman. And if those two people get in a fight, I mean, he's just gonna destroy this woman. And like, yeah, it's like sending LeBron James to the WNBA. He's gonna score.
He's gonna do great.
He's gonna score, you know, 6,000 points a game.
Well, eventually,
You know?
what's the unfortunate thing that's going to eventually happen is you're going to get a murder. I guarantee you. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You're going to end up getting a murder of one of these ladies over there. And the sad reality is they're going to say, "Oh, it's just this is an isolated incident. It could have happened with another woman."
And it'll be documented as woman on woman crime.
And the only way this thing changes if you have somebody in politics, niece in there, somebody in politics, family member in there, and they get their head cracked open by one of these guys, then all of a sudden, hey, there's a problem. And that's typically how politics work. If it's not affecting the rich or the people who are politically connected, they don't care.
Right. Unless the one way I keep thinking that we can counteract that we can circumvent that, is by getting people's attention like yours. Because you were right there. What if that was my mom?
Of course, that's insane.
And that's why I need like your subscribers, your viewers. Like, dang, that could be my baby mama. Or what about if that was my aunt or my sister? What would have happened? You know, my mom's doing life. People that have a connection, that love a woman in there, need to be fully aware that they're not okay. And if we all were to collectively, you know, call our elected officials, say that this ain't cool.
Well, we need to. I know the person to get you in contact with that's up in Sacramento just about every week, and pushing against the laws with Wiener, and we helped her push, even though she was and her group is the forefront on it. We also helped it, and we did defeat one. I'm not sure which one of his crazy things. We defeated it, and then they thought they weren't.
Was it for the vaccinations for the kids? Okay,
that was Denise, and I forgot the women.
The moms. The
yeah,
moms.
they have the whole coalition of moms. They're out there banging.
Yes,
and
those are some writer moms.
And that'll be a good person for you to get in contact with, because they know the ins and outs. It's a maze you got to go through there, and you got to find one person that's a lawmaker that backs what you guys are saying and what you guys are doing, and then we start supporting them. We start saying, "Hey, man, we will support you. You know, get them elected, and then we will get the phone calls and all that. We'll back your play 100%. We'll back your play 100%, and I will try to guide you in the right direction. But right now, what can regular people do?
Gosh, pray. We need Jesus, because it's real crazy right now. If you know anybody in there, drop them a line. You know, reach out, because it's very dark. It's very dark. Tell somebody. The more you talk about it and the more awareness that's raised, the more real it becomes, because it's very quiet. Nobody's saying anything. It's an uncomfortable topic to discuss. But it's difficult.
Are you like do you guys have like a coalition going yet, that the ladies that are in there against it are mailing you guys stuff, calling you guys?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, I have a whole file cabinet full of letters just that are unbelievable, that I everybody wants access to, because they want to get a lot of likes or followers, but I'm very selective as far as who gets access to that information, because I'm not going to participate in the further exploitation of these women. Right. They're not going to be a joke, or they're not going to be clickbait. I'm not going to do anything that is going to cause them further damage, to hurt them more. And if it means passing up that article, or, you know, not dealing with this news outlet, I'm going to do it. I'm going to pass, because they're a priority.
Now, have you gotten the ladies yet to start bombarding some of the people and writing them letters? And I mean, just constantly, where to them it could be junk mail, but hey, here you go.
Well, you know, there's this thing, the 602 process, and we could really, if we could inundate the prison with these inmate complaints, it would be ideal. But they're afraid to do that, because the last group of people who wrote a 602 against this lost everything. They lost their there was a woman who lost her parole date. She lost her parole suitability after serving over 20 years. Model inmate, you know, a clerk, a square. And she wrote a 602 complaining about, you know, this person keeps walking in on me in the restroom again and again and again. And this housing situation is not fair, and the implementation of this law. This lady got arrested, sent to ADSEG, removed from the honor dorm, and
Writing agreements.
yeah, and she got written up for harassment and falsifying a document. So they revoked her parole suitability based on that.
Yeah, so if you're trying to write a senator, I'm sure they're going to try to.
So that action right there, it was incredibly intentional, and they did it knowing that it was going to impact the whole community.
Send a message.
Yeah, and it was going to shut them all up, and it was very successful. To the point where even I wanted to shut up, because a lot of the people that are working against them and doing these hurtful things, they hate me too. They specifically hate me too, because I initiated the lawsuit. So, so I
So right now there's lawsuits pending.
There's one Chandler versus CDCR. It's in the courts right now. It's just kind of in limbo, just
What's the
sitting
basis
there.
of the lawsuit?
Violation of First Amendment, not second, freedom of speech, cruel and unusual punishment, right to practice religion. Because how do you really practice like Islam if you're having to share a room and get naked in front of somebody that's not your dad or your husband? And what else was it on? It's on a few different violations of those rights, but it's the only one right now because it's very hard to find lawyers that are willing to go up against CDCR as well. I mean,
because what it is there's like lawyers want money a lot of times, and there's no lawsuit where, hey, we've been discriminated against, we're gonna sue and make some money off of this. So this has to be more of a lawyer who's actually just passionate about.
But I think it's time for us to start filing those lawsuits.
No,
like,
definitely.
Like, I'm damaged. I'm not okay. I'm not okay. I'm not going to be okay ever. This has made it impossible for me to rehabilitate. I'm suing you. You captain, you sergeant, you associate warden, all you guys that did this to me on this yard, you've been served. I mean, it's gotta happen. Because the men file lawsuits all day, every day.
Yeah, for sure.
Every day there's at least one that's filed.
Easily.
And that is not commonplace in women's prison. It's very it doesn't happen as on a frequent level like that at all. But it should. It's going to. It has to.
I think in women, they're going to have to sacrifice. I think the only way that women's prison would be like, in other words, the women say, we're not going to work anymore. We're not doing this. We're like, and actually coming together as a women and saying, you want them on this prison, you put them in their own yard over there, dude.
It's hard. It's very hard for it's hard for women to come together in the streets and out here. It's very difficult. There's just something that prevents us from, putting our pride to the side and pushing forward together. It's very difficult. But it's something that I just have to drive home. It has to happen because it's the only way they're going to survive. And they're going to have to make sacrifices. Like, you're going to have to get uncomfortable. Because what's the thing that's going to be ultimately uncomfortable is if you leave it like this and you let it, just let it ride.
Yeah, it's insane.
It's unbearable. So there aren't a whole lot of choices.
Now, out here, now that you're not in prison, what kind of retaliation are you getting from people out here?
Well, I've been called a nebulous white supremacist, a Nazi enthusiast. I'm like, what?
You're the Asian Nazi enthusiast, huh?
That's interesting. And these are like newspapers. These are like
Really?
the San Quentin News wanted to go into detail about the lawsuit and then provide a quote from somebody about being a victim who's definitely not a victim.
Right.
And that was really hurtful because people lean on that publication. We lean on that. People are dependent on that solidarity, and everybody looks up to that. So for me to see this, and it was brought to my attention from inside, they said, "Did you read it all the way to the bottom?" I said, "No, it was so irritating, I stopped." they said, read it to the bottom. And I did, and I was just mind blown because it's really smashing on women. And we don't expect that from coming from San Quentin.
And now, is that a prison newspaper?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
And it's disappointing because this isn't like mainstream media. This is other prisoners.
other inmates, male inmates or female inmates, right? Male
Yeah.
inmates that are bashing on you guys for trying to get.
And it's very disappointing because it then proves how controlled everything is.
For sure, even the media and even the media in San Quentin is being controlled.
Yes, it's wild, and you know, a lot of other organizations, they're financially supported by the same agenda.
Yes, of course.
So they can't. Their hands are tied. You know, I'm not mad anymore. I understand. People need to work. They need to put food on the table. I just wish that it didn't come at the cost of your own people's necks. You know, I'm in a very different position where I can do what I want to do without strings attached. But I don't judge anybody else who's in a different position. You know, I get it. But it's been a rough ride. It's been a rough ride because I didn't understand, like, where was I supposed to go for help? I didn't know, nobody else was talking about this. And then I was getting shade from my own community. I was like, what am I supposed to do? So I ended up in the UK. I got assistance from
Really?
from the UK, yeah, who introduced me to lawyers.
Really?
Yeah, it was wild. There's a lady, she's over there named Posey Parker, Kelly J. Keene. She introduced me to some feminist attorneys over here who
Well, you would think the feminist attorneys would be, you
All
know,
over.
coming in
But-
droves to try to help.
I
you
don't
guys.
know, like, I never knew anything about feminism. I don't know anything. I'm like really trying to stay away from isms, like extremisms.
Well, the thing is, everything's been hijacked.
Yes, stolen.
Everything's been hijacked by. I used to say the letter community I'd be afraid of was the FBI and the DEA, but nah, the letter community you gotta be afraid of is LGBTQ. But that'll show you, and that's why I try to tell people the power of coming together to, you know, to make your agenda and put your stuff out there. But their agenda started off righteous. It started off where, you know what, they want equal rights. They don't want to be discriminated. I get that, absolutely. But it comes to a point where you're discriminating everybody else.
Greatly. I mean, this is not an implementation of equal protection. This is not, you know, respect, agency, and dignity for all. This is very limited, and it's prioritizing them over everything. And that's not what they want either. So we really need to break it down and start separating that group to the last man standing. You can see who the real bad ones are. Because it's not these guys, it's not these guys. It's the same people, it's the same old white guys that have been pulling strings forever that are behind this same movement as every other movement, and they destroy things from the inside out because that's how they control stuff.
And they're indoctrinating them young now. They're making young kids believe all this stuff and think it's okay, and we'll tell the parents, you're just a homophobe because I don't want you in a locker room with a man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're a girl.
And it's destroying, like, the family unit has already been decimated. Like, it's already been tore up so much. So this is tearing up the remnants of the family, you know, just the little bit of leftovers we had left. So that it's that much easier to control us. If there's no family, there's no religion, there's no culture. There's no gender. You don't even know that.
No structure.
None whatsoever. So just move us around like cattle. It's that much easier.
Now, you brought a couple of ladies here, friends.
Yes, I did.
Now, they're part of your support group. They're part of the clica.
That's my favorite driver.
Man, you got a driver.
Adrian just drives.
That's the muscle.
And this one, that's little Michelle.
That's little Michelle. What's Michelle's story?
Little Michelle. Oh, I loved her even before she came home. She's special. Everything that she says is exactly what's on my heart, but it sounds so much better coming from her.
She says what you're thinking and feeling in your heart.
And it's beautiful. It just comes out, and it's so much easier to absorb when it comes from little Michelle. She loves the women inside the way I do. She's thankful. She's not upset about the time she did. It wasn't all horrible. But she did a lot of time, and she's still very young, and she's only been home a couple months.
That's it, huh?
So she's very.
Did you guys meet in prison, or did you guys meet when out here?
Out here, we both there's some people that were mutual, friends of ours inside, and she actually did a podcast from inside, and it was so good. She has no idea how important that was. It's deep. It's deep, and her perspective is deep. And
Give her your chair, Chris. Don't be a
would
douchebag.
You would think, that she's like an 85-year-old woman when she talks, because she's very old soul.
Make sure you get in this shot. Yeah, Chris is trying to be a douchebag. He's trying to take. Hey, you could put that cord too and clip it on the microphone right there, Chris.
But she was there firsthand to watch it. We were just talking earlier about how, really gung-ho in the beginning, but then you start to lose hope.
Also, Michelle was there with the
yeah,
transgender community. Oh, let's bring Michelle over here real quick, if you don't mind. And she's a seasoned podcaster. What are you talking about?
Oh, okay.
What? There you go. If not the other one may. Oh, there you go.
Oh,
Perfect.
you're big, Michelle.
There you go. If you can put the mic right up to her, Chris, or just put it all the way. Yeah, there we go. There.
She's a natural.
If Chris turned the mic on, we're gonna be rocking and rolling right now. Chris is like, damn, they took my chair. Chris has been fighting years for that chair. See, there's no equality over here, Chris.
He's like, she got it in like 2 minutes that she was here, and I waited for a minute.
All right.
It's messed up.
All right, you got her mic on, Chris, or no? I don't know. Her mic's not connected, but it's down at the bottom. Over there to your right, yeah. Let me get this one in right now. So no, let me wait before I ask. It should be one mic line right at the bottom. It's down there, Chris. It's down there. It's down there by itself, all by its lonesome. I know because I nailed that bad boy down there. It's down there. It's down there somewhere.
See, this is so extensive. People don't understand the work that goes into having a successful podcast.
Oh, a lot of people believe that.
You just turn it on.
Yeah, look, Chris just blew it up. Yeah.
Just turn it on.
A lot of people just think you. Damn, we're bumping over here, Chris. A lot of people think you get a mic and that's no. You gotta have the breakdown, what you're gonna do, and then eventually this is the professional setup. But it took us a while to get here.
Very impressive.
It was all because of Boo-Boo's beard.
I figured. I knew
All
it.
right, let's hear you.
Hello?
You got her? Michelle, right?
Yeah, Michelle.
Okay, Michelle. So, give us you can put the headphones on too. There you go. Yeah, not gonna be in the spaceship. Let me see. There we go. All right. Now, can you hear it? Can you hear it? Get close to the mic. You hear the difference.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Get a little closer. You hear the difference. Get closer.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
See how that sounds? You see how that sounds better?
Well, I'm pretty loud. It's just the beginning. I'll
No,
start
I got Chris. Chris will tone you down or up. Don't worry. So, okay, let's give us a little bit of history on you. You just recently left prison.
Yeah. I've been out 2.5 months.
Oh, you're fresh out.
Yeah.
How long were you in there for?
A little bit over 11 years.
Oh,
Wow.
damn, man, she makes me look like a chump.
Right?
11 years. What are you doing going to prison for 11 years, man? You've been a bad person? You're doing the same thing she was doing?
I think it goes beyond being a bad person. I had a lot of bad behavior.
Okay.
Wouldn't say I was a bad person, but definitely a lost person.
Okay. Did you... Obviously, you came out a different person than you did when you went in there, right?
Of course.
How long did it take you to start transitioning and say, man, I want to get my life fixed?
The moment I turned myself in.
Oh, you turned yourself in?
Yeah.
Okay. And now that you're out here, you came from prison and actually experienced a lot of the things that we were just speaking about, right?
Yeah.
What was your first experience with a transgender inmate?
Gosh. Well, my first experience with them was just off-putting. Honestly, I was just like, I didn't want nothing to do with any of it.
Don't worry about the sound. Get closer to the mic. Could be better.
And I think it was just heartbreaking because there's so many women in there who fight hard to get out of there, and so they're stuck there in this environment where you feel helpless, you feel like no one cares, and you feel like no one's gonna help you either way. Like your opinion really doesn't matter whether you're okay with it or not. And so I carried that around, right? I walked around feeling like, man, there's nothing I can do other than to keep saying this is wrong and to keep sharing with as many people as I possibly can that why it's not okay.
And nobody listened?
Well, who do you tell? We only talk amongst each other, right? And then we get connected with people on the outside like Amie, and that's when you feel like you're finally being heard. when there's people who've actually been in prison and are willing to pick up a collect phone call and hear your thoughts, and they care about what you have to say. You don't find that often.
Right.
Right? And so we got that with Amie and a few other people, of course. But
So, were you guys like given a heads up that they're coming into the prison system at all?
not necessarily, not legitly. Like
Right.
the way you hear of things in prison is more like rumor, right?
Yeah.
So a staff will be like, hey, I don't know if you guys know, but pretty soon the men are coming. But everybody, if you've been in prison, you know it takes years for anything to
anything to
happen,
work
right? It's like,
out.
how many years did we hear the 3-strike law is going to change, and years went
took
by
by.
and nothing happened. So yeah, we heard of it, but we didn't believe that it was going to happen, and we definitely were not expecting that it was going to happen that quickly.
So when you a transgender person came into your dorm, I guess, or cell, I mean, what did you think? Were you like, who's this? Like, what was your thoughts? And just, like,
Defensive, shut down, observant.
Yeah.
Right. Well, you're already observant when you're in prison.
Yeah.
Yeah, shut down, defensive.
and these transgender, they're actually in the showers and in the restrooms with you, and
Not necessarily, no, because it's not dorm living in Chowchilla. It's 8 people to a room. So when they start trickling in, they're not automatically in my room. But you start hearing rumors, they're on this yard. They're already hitting a yard, or there's a busload of them coming in. So no, I can't say that I automatically off the top was like, oh, they're in my shower. But I started tripping like, when is it going to be the day that one of them walks into my room and they're going to be my bunkie?
yeah,
Like, when is that day going to come, right? So... excuse me. So automatically, all of us were just like, fill up your rooms.
yeah.
Fill up your rooms so that there is no room for them to move in, pretty much.
Wow, that's just like. So you're doing an 11-year term. They start coming in 5th year in, 6th year in. I mean,
No, I would say it was like the last maybe 2 years
okay. How did you two hook up?
through a mutual
Through
friend.
a mutual friend?
Yeah.
You guys, so you were in prison and you were out, and you guys got connected and started
Yes.
those phone calls going and stuff like that.
Yeah, our mutual friend had me get on a podcast
Mm-hmm.
and share a little bit about what was going on in there, and then she heard that podcast and she contacted me.
Oh, okay.
So that's how her and I clicked.
Now, what were you doing a podcast in there about?
About the transgender law.
Oh, so that's and they,
Yeah.
and they let you do the podcast in there?
I didn't ask for permission. I get to call who I want to. That's my right.
Oh, so you just did it over the
Yeah, collect call.
Oh, collect call.
Oh, is that how
So
you
what-
did?
Yeah,
So you guys don't have cell phones on?
No.
No.
None that you can talk about. None that you can talk about.
None that I was willing to give up my date for. That's for sure.
Yeah. Oh, they take your date away.
Yeah. you
For
get in trouble
everything.
that.
So, what got you going to say, you know what? No, I need to do a podcast about this, because there's some people that just don't want to get involved.
I didn't think that. I just thought I'm going to be leaving soon, and I'm going to be leaving some of the most valuable people that I have in my life. I'm going to be leaving them here. And who's going to speak up for them? And I wanted to speak on it while it was still fresh, while I could still see the impact visually around me. I wanted to speak on it in that moment, not wait till after the fact, not wait till years went by and the vision was like blurred. No, I wanted to just share about it in that moment. If there was something I can do, I was going to do it right then and there.
Okay.
That's major. So, did you get any like pushback from guards or anything that are hearing your conversations that you're talking about it?
No, they're not listening.
They weren't listening to that stuff. All right, so what's your take on what do you think should happen with the transgenders, just prison population?
They should go get their own prison. If they feel that unsafe where they are, like they're claiming they do, then they should have their own prison, and they can go there instead of claiming discrimination everywhere they're going, and instead of invading a place that CDCR, rehabilitation, what is it about? It's about changing. It's about the old person dying and a new person coming out. And how are these women, including myself, supposed to achieve that if you're not giving us a safe environment to do that? There's a reason we ended up in prison.
Absolutely.
It didn't just happen from one day to the next. It happened from years of pain, years of trauma, years of neglect, years of abandonment, etc. Right? I could go on. And so you go to a place like this prison, and even though it's a horrible place with different people, right, with different backgrounds, you go there and you create a safe place enough for you to do the change that you need to do. And so by bringing males into our prison system, into a women's living environment, you're automatically just destroying that.
You're throwing a wrench in the whole system.
Which is beyond just what people see, which is all people see is, oh, there's men living there. It's beyond that, because people are in there fighting to come home to their families, and they're losing that.
Right.
They're losing that because now you can't go to a group and open up like you normally would.
Oh my God, I didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
That's
Right? Now you can't go in there and really talk about domestic violence, which is probably what brought you to prison. You can't talk about that openly because you already feel unsafe. You're in that same trauma place that you were before. Like, sure, some people could still ask for help, but now you're having to use your tools on a whole different level in the very place that you're set aside from society to learn and reflect and grow. There's no reflecting anymore. So society is robbing that. Like, the very thing that they want from an inmate is change. How are you going to produce that when you're placing them in a traumatic situation all over again?
And that's what you need in front of the California Senate, the California Assembly. That what she's saying, how she's saying it, the experience. Because, yeah, we're hearing all this stuff, but when you start breaking it down like that, like, yeah, dude, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, how are you going to be in a group? And yet, the majority of women that are in prison have one shape or form been part of domestic abuse. There's just no way around it. Whether it's parent, whether it's with a husband, whether it was a girl, whatever it is, they come from a violent place, and to sit there and with women, and now you got a guy in the mix. Yeah, it's got to be very uncomfortable. And it seems like you guys ain't really getting any help. And it's because right now there's no plans of slowing this thing down. This train has left, and they're planning to bring every what is it, every month, every year, you just start hearing people coming in.
Well, it's slowed down to a point now where the big number is pending. It's just sitting there right now. I think that they pump the brakes because it is a crisis. It is a huge crisis inside.
It definitely is.
And they're like at a loss. They don't know what to do. But as far as new transfers, there haven't been any in a while. But there's still that whole list of pending people, and it's only a matter of time before their attorneys start pressing the issue. Like, why are you not following this law and granting these transfers? Because they've been granted. So, we're on borrowed time.
Well, if you guys were not making any kind of noise, I can guarantee you it'd be easier for them to start making these transfers. But the good thing is you guys are actually speaking up for a lot of women who also may want to speak up, and they're probably afraid for the retaliation. But hopefully it gets much more traction. I wanted to ask you also, medical procedures. They're trying to get, and then they already are getting, the state taxpayers to pay for sex reassignment surgeries, and I could imagine how much or how many women are there that have like maybe cancer, arthritis, all kind of women have all kind of complications because their bodies are built different. Real women, all right. So isn't it kind of like we're putting the women on the back burner and we're worried about
Absolutely.
Always.
And what do you think about that?
Man, I think a lot about that.
Well, let us know.
I think so much about that because it's like I've seen women die in prison who have cancer, legitly, who've probably served 40 years, and they're doing good, and it takes forever for them to get treatment. And yet somebody comes and says, I feel uncomfortable in my body, and you jump so quickly to give them everything that they need. And that's medically speaking, but what about even the littlest things, right? Like, they get their own clothes. They get special clothing.
What?
So a woman, we go over there and we get this clothes that makes you look like a box that doesn't even fit you, right? But they're going to get clothing so that they could feel comfortable. And I'm not hating. I'm just saying, like, hey, so can we get something that makes us feel comfortable too?
Or like a woman.
It's like
Right.
it's like Animal Farm. Some
Very
animals are
much.
equal and some animals are more equal. That's
But
what.
back on the medical thing, yeah, there's so many women in there who are
Suffering.
lacking medical attention. I mean,
Yes.
let's keep it real. You can't even get a root canal in prison.
That's
you
what
got
I'm thinking.
you got a toothache, we're gonna pull it. So you're like 28 years old.
Drink lots of water.
Yeah, you're
teeth.
28 years old and you're walking out with missing your good front tooth. I mean, no, you should be spending money on fixing people's teeth because that helps with self-esteem
And then it helps get a job.
and it helps you get a job.
It
So
really
why
does.
not also invest some money in that?
Yeah, to me, I can't even fathom them spending all that money on sexual reassignment surgeries. They're gonna have to eventually get a wing at the hospital,
Yes.
right? 'Cause
Yes.
It's not like you go in there.
But actually, the demand for it is not as high as you would think.
Yeah, because they don't want their peepees cut
There's
off.
not as many.
Let's keep it real. They
like,
don't want the peepees cut
there's
off.
not as many trans women who are legitimately ready to transition as they're advertising. That's why they took that as a requirement off. No more SRS, just you can transfer as
Yeah,
is.
that's bull.
Because
Yeah.
it would have diminished the numbers. greatly.
No, it would have pretty much made it zilch unless somebody was really with it and said, I do feel like a woman. And if they, listen, like we were saying, if they put on the chopping board, cut it off,
Yeah.
then I could be like, well, this was with it.
Yeah.
He's really,
This person is
he's
dedicated
feeling
to
like,
this
yeah,
life.
he's a woman.
He's serious.
He's serious about that shit. But if you're not letting that thing go, you're not serious about it. You're not serious about it. You just want to go there, take advantage of the system, and instead of being low on the totem pole because of some shicey shit you did in the streets or somewhere in jail, now you want to be over here and being a predator.
And it's the transfers that are back to medical sticking on medical. There's a woman who needs a breast reduction. Her spine is curving. She's wearing 3 bras a day. Like, they just denied her request for breast reduction because it's cosmetic. They deemed it cosmetic, but are you serious? Are you serious?
Surgery.
Or you
That's
could, but they'll
cosmetic, right?
they'll remove healthy breasts of an individual who wants
Exactly.
to transition.
Yeah.
And then there's women in there that are like, I need a mastectomy. I need to get a hysterectomy, and they're not doing it.
They'll push it off saying, well, when you get out, you can do it. So,
Or nothing. They just say nothing.
so
Drink more water.
It should be the same thing for these guys. Well, first of all, these guys should not be in women's prison. To me, it's insane. We're not talking about streets. We're talking about prison. You can't sit there and push every bit of civil rights, right?
Because it's different.
Because you're now a convict. You've now lost some of your civil rights until you get released. But to sit there and say, well, that person, their back hurts because of their breasts, but mentally I'm hurting more. No, come on, man. You need to help these women.
And we're having to create the pathways and figure out different routes to try and go and how to reword things and how to, focus on the medicalization of things so that we don't get shot down for, being exclusionary or hateful bigots. Everything is so delicate that it's like walking on thin ice every single day, every minute of the day.
Yeah, because they're just looking for one single thing to say, see, I told you they're homophobes. See, I told you that. And it's not that. It's not that at all, dude. And especially women. Women, if it was like that in women's prison, you guys would be like men's prison. And it's not like that, apparently, as you said. But with those guys going in there, it's going to turn into that.
Well, and there's, it's just a matter of time before things start happening, like extortion.
Of course.
It's literally a gold mine. People are going to fully take advantage of the vulnerability of women that are in there. It's not going to take much. Hey, you want to breathe for the rest of the month? Have your family send me $1,000.
Right.
Well, I want to breathe, and my grandma wants me to breathe too. So
Hey, Chris, put the number up there, see if anyone wants to call in and chime in on this topic. Yeah, before I heard of this, I had no clue. I heard they were, playing around with the idea, and I thought, oh, maybe in 20 years or something. No, that's
it
insane.
was very quick.
Right? When I told you?
Yeah, when we were talking about it earlier, I was like, what?
It's very shocking
There's
to
what
most
going in
people.
there?
But it happened during COVID lockdown. The assembly, the house, they all voted
All the
for
weirdo
it.
stuff started kicking in.
Yes, all those laws that passed while we were hiding
lockdown.
in our house.
I got to crack a joke, though.
Yeah.
I heard Boo Boo's Beard's going to do a robbery today so he can go to the female prison.
Did they go walk the yard over there?
Yeah, Boo Boo's Beard running the yarda in Chowchilla prison.
But there's men. There's yeah.
There's what?
Men walking with full-blown beards in the
there.
joint. That's insane, bro.
Wow.
I couldn't believe that. I can't believe that.
I have specific messages from women that are saying like, there's no feminine attributes. There's a full beard. They don't even have to try.
Connect the Chris.
And they don't.
That's just crazy because I think when I used to visit those places, that they had their own dorm. Like literally in the LA County Jail, they had their own dorm, and you didn't. get
JJ,
mixed
what's
at
good,
all.
buddy?
Yeah, I'm right here just listening to you guys. How you ladies doing tonight?
Pretty good. Thank
Good.
you.
It's okay to say, you know what I mean? I'm hearing the conversation, but, to be honest, we got to hold people accountable for this, even our own people too. You know, the people wanted this, people wanted to vote for this too. And Gavin Newsom and his Democrat Party are the ones that got the train ready for it, you know. And I'm hearing you girls, and I just want to let you guys know that, you know, the people out here, we got the support in California, you know, and you guys on the front, you guys are fighting, and you guys are brave ladies. I just want to give you guys this credit.
Thank you.
Thanks, my man. I appreciate that, man. So,
It's not a,
if hopefully we can get something going where you can call, letter, do something. We'll try to get something going over here.
of course, I'm with it. I'm with it too. I'll do it. I follow you, Gil. You're an American Cholo. So I see everything, and if something goes like that, I'll be there. I'll call. I'll do my part, whatever I can, and hopefully people here and listening right now, the ladies need you right now because what about this? Your mom, your aunt, your sister, just like you guys said it, and I think about that too. You never know until somebody becomes a victim, and people are sleeping on this. And this is a very sensitive topic, but when you bring it up and talk about it, you're the enemy. Just like when she was saying, Amy, right now, she was saying the same thing. If you bring it up, you speak up, you're the enemy. You're not like white supremacists. Like, it makes no sense. Like, yeah, I'll see you guys, ladies, and I'm praying, and you guys got my support, and whatever you guys need, I'll do it.
Very cool. Thank you, Jay. Appreciate that. You right over there, Chris? You right over there, buddy? You right? Yeah, dude. I mean, I'm beyond words when it comes to this. I still can't really believe it. I mean, I can't. And hopefully that some of the people that are watching, you know, I'm sure they never know about this stuff. But you gotta look at it like this. I mean, we're not perfect human beings. We all screw up, and you can't just look at people in jail and just say, oh, well, screw, that's what they get. I mean, I'm a guy that will a lot of times, you'll hear me, I'm tough on crime. I think there has to be rules and regulations. I definitely am. I don't shy away from that. But I also think there needs to be some type of reform. There needs to be a way for you to go into prison and come out a better person.
Right.
And this isn't that. Right. Not whatsoever.
And that's the core of it, right? That's the core of rehabilitation. That's the core of even what society wants.
Yes.
And I agree with it. I agree with consequences as well.
Yes.
It was the best thing that could have happened to me.
That's a great thing to hear you say that.
So I agree with that. But how is that supposed to happen when a lot of people are voting for something they have no idea how it's going to affect? Exactly. You want better people to walk out of there? That's what a sentence is for. Go back, reflect, come back out, and hopefully you're different. That's not going to happen while this is in motion.
No, maybe some of these politicians should go have their daughter go stay in that place for a week with that guy.
I mean, I have to stop myself a lot from saying things like, "Well, wait till you get raped," because
I'll say it all day long.
I have had to really pull it in because when I first started, I ran out like a bull in a china shop, and I didn't care. Because my friends were scared. They were scared and crying, and I was like, I don't care. I don't care.
But it's reality. It's wait till you get raped. It's wait till you have your daughter get her head bashed in. Mm-hmm. It's wait till your mother, because that's the first thing I thought. My mom was in there.
Right.
My mom was in those cells. I'm like, fuck no. I'd be livid to hear that. Hey, mijo, there's a guy in here with me. Like, what the fuck?
And he's a serial rapist.
Since you were in there with them, I mean, did you see them get in a fight with any other woman? Did you get into any arguments with them?
No.
No?
No,
it hasn't got to that point yet?
No, well, I've been out for a little bit, but I left Chowchilla like a year ago. I was in an ankle monitor program. But while I was there, no, because a lot of them, it was the beginning of it. And so they come in very detached, very hesitant, even of us, just as much as we are of them. And so if you see them, they're very... try to be very social, maybe overly social. They try to conversate a lot with you. And so there's a lot of that's going on. And I know for myself, I was just like hesitant. So I was very observant of like their behavior. Like, why is this person overly friendly? Nobody in prison is...
They're hustling. They're hustling.
Yeah, you can't help but notice those things. But no, I didn't see anything like that. But the environment just changes, right? You walk into a prison, you're in a prison. You could feel the heaviness in the air, right? You feel that tension. You learn to live with that tension. When they brought men over, it's a whole different ballgame. It just got darker. If prison was dark before, it got even darker. You could see the desperation on people's faces, and that's why I don't stop speaking up on it. Mm-hmm. Because the very people that instilled everything that I am today in me are still stuck there. They're lifers. They're doing life without parole. They're doing a life sentence, and they're fighting really hard, diligently, to be an asset to that community so that they can get out better people. And when I see a desperation on their face, it's heart-wrenching. When they feel like they don't know what to do, you stay speechless.
Hector, what's going on with your Tapia? How we doing, my man?
Hey, what's up, Mr. Gill? I'm doing great, man. Hey, I just want to call and give my comments to these girls. Thank you guys for coming out, man. It's been a really informative podcast, man. I think one of the most informative, very enlightening, man. I never even thought to look at it this way. A lot of shit that they're explaining, man. It's a sad situation, and but I'm really glad that it's coming to light. If you think back quite a few podcasts ago, there was a district member on your podcast, and she was, running for District 29.
Yes.
Marina
And
Torres?
I called that day, and what was her name?
Marina Torres?
No,
that wasn't her.
Don't listen to Boo.
There you go.
Boo, you're taking over. Keep going, Hector.
What's up, Boo?
What's going on, man? How you doing?
Shout out, dog.
Sorry to interrupt.
I'm doing great, man. Yeah, so it was District 29. It's over there in the valley somewhere. But anyways, she was on the podcast, and I called, and I just gave her a couple questions. Do you believe in God? How many genders are there? And what does she have to do? What does she have to say about the indoctrination that's going on in our kids' elementary schools? And she danced around every single thing. But during the podcast before I called, she cussed just like us. She looked just like us. She smokes weed just like most of us. You know what I mean? And she just blended right in, dog. And there's so many people, so many politicians that are sent like that to come into the community, and fucking they're groomed to pretty much convince us that they're on our side.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But we just need to do our due diligence, because we're raising families behind us. We're responsible. We're parents. We're uncles. We're godfathers. Whatever it is. I mean, we have to do due diligence for the ones that are coming up behind us, and start to weed out the snakes. You know what I mean? And that's the leftist Democratic Party that's doing all this shit to us. The ones that have been claiming to have been helping us out this whole time.
Yeah, they've been portraying that they're our friends, and Malcolm X said it best, man. The Republicans, they'll show you their teeth and show the wolves. The Democrats come in there, act like they're your friends, but you know what? They're not our friends. Politicians in general are not our friends. Politicians there do a job, and we're letting them do whatever they want, and we got to stop. And Hector, hey, this is the guy. If you didn't know, Boo Boo, he's the gentleman that we were supposed to go to on last Saturday in Compton. That did the signs. It's SoCal signs. Oh, I'm sorry. What is it exactly, Hector? I need you to plug it.
It's SoCal Signs for Life.
And tell us exactly what that is. That's him.
Yeah. So, and thanks for asking, Gil. SoCal Signs for Life. It's just it's a nonprofit organization that I came up that actually Gil helped me start by giving me a hookup with the person that organizes the paperwork part. But anyways, I came up with this idea because one of my nephews was growing up in the city of Compton, where there was it's a cul-de-sac, used to be a dead end, where it was a headquarters of a local gang, Fruitown Piru. And anyways, my nephew's 18 years old. He's still in school. He plays basketball, football, but he's a big kid, you know what I mean? And he's mixed, and I would just hate for somebody to gun him down, So I was like, fuck, I got to come up with something for the other people, the outsiders that assume that the gang is still occupying that cul-de-sac, because that was headquarters for decades and decades. So I was like, I'm going to put a fucking sign on the corner and say, leave us alone, you're innocent. Or then I was like, I got to do one up. I'm going to fucking get a real sign, a real reflective road sign. I did that, and then I was like, you know what, they're going to tear that shit down. The city's going to come and tear it down. So I was like, I'm going to start a nonprofit, some kind of organization, so I can have a name, so I can be somebody that can be heard, And then finally, I got the meeting with the mayor of Compton, so I did all the hoops and everything that they wanted me to jump through, and actually got a lot of support from the city for an idea like this. It's a new idea; it's never been done, And we got the sign up. We had a big event, the 7th, I think it was last Saturday.
Yes,
and it was a success. But there's still a lot of people that don't understand a simple sign that says no gang members live here. It's it's a uncomfortable conversation that needs to get had. You know, like, hey, you know what? We understand this is still your neighborhood in general. You know, we just want other outsiders to know that, hey, you know what? These people hanging out right here are coming in and out of this block are just innocent people, and please don't shoot this way. You know,
That's a beautiful thing.
some people take it to offense, but
right.
for the most part, it's been nothing but positive.
But look what we can do if we just, you know, put some effort into it, Hector. And that's what you're showing. You're showing an example that if we want something done, sometimes we just got to get up there and do it ourselves, man.
Yeah, and I commend you girls for standing up, man. You guys keep fighting a good fight. And anything you guys need, you know, if you guys got a fundraiser or something like that, you know, I'm always in on that kind of stuff.
Likewise.
And you know what I mean? So just let Gil know, let it be known, and I'll look you guys up on social media. Do you guys have any social media or website or anything like that yet?
Yes, we do. Woman to woman, woman.org.
You're taking my last question, Hector. Start your own podcast, damn it.
But we're on all platforms, sir. Yes.
All right, Doc.
Hey, Hector, appreciate you, brother.
All right, buddy.
All right, brother.
You guys have-
Oh shit. Hector's around all women. He came to the turkey drive. We had run out of turkeys. This was the first time I've ever meeting him. He hit me up. He calls. I have a Google number. People call all the time, and he's like, "Damn, you really answered?" I said, "Yeah, I answered." I don't run for conversations, right? And then he asked me about the nonprofit. I hooked him up with the right guy, and then he said, "I'm gonna come to the turkey drive. What do you need?" I said, "No, we're good. Like, bring some ice or something." My Hector pulled up with like 20 birds and 20 hams and bunch of. I mean, he came fully loaded, and he pulled up with his wife, his daughters, his mother. I mean, so to like someone like him, dude, it's all women. Mm-hmm. So when you hearing about women being treated this way, we're supposed to at the end. We're supposed to help out women and children, right? That's what they say. And a lot of those young ladies in prison, they're children. You got young girls in there. You got real young girls. Like you were saying at the beginning, you got young girls in there. And just because you made one mistake in your life, it shouldn't dictate the whole life. And it shouldn't scar you. You already got enough scars that you don't have to wake up in the morning and watch some dude pissing in front of you because they say that's inclusive. That's not inclusive. That's just wrong.
Because it's exclusive. If anything, it's excluded us from everything even more than it already was.
Absolutely. So now I can ask you the question because Hector took it. Where can people find you on social media? How do we help support you?
Well, you know, we have a lovely website thanks to Liz. Thank you very much.
Give Liz a shout out.
Liz has really dressed it up and dolled it up and streamlined it. And we have resources there that you can download. There's bios. There's I think my cell phone number's on there because we don't have an office. So, you know, you can see what we do, what we're about. We're starting to try and feature more articles from the ladies inside, just so that they have a platform where we're not going to edit it. I don't care if I don't agree with it. It doesn't matter because you have access to this platform. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook, TikTok, but I don't really know how to do that. But it's all for woman to woman, and it's confusing because it's woman, I woman, like Roman numerals, because 2 was taken. So it's.
And that's on your IG?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And yeah, I mean, we'll answer any questions. We'll respond to every email.
And is there a P.O. box they can write you to also?
Absolutely, yes. P.O. Box 465.
Okay, we'll give the whole address. That way people even in jail that may want some help from you guys can hear it.
Yes. If you're in jail and you need to write us, please hit us up at Woman to Woman, P.O. Box 465, Harbor City, California, 90710.
And don't be sending letters asking for money because you ain't getting jack shit.
Because we don't have any. We don't have any. But yeah, what we really would really like is if you do have subscribers that are seasoned in writing 602s. This is like an art form.
Okay,
this is like an art form. We could really use some guidance. We could really use some advice. We could really use some help from the men because we don't have a problem saying that we need men. We do, and we would really appreciate some guidance,
help.
some support.
Okay. Let him through, Chris. What's up, caller? Talk to us.
Hey, I just wanted to say that I tuned in kind of late to the live, but
for the most part, I think I understand the argument that these two young women have been basically discriminated on against by transgender rights being favored over there.
Right.
Is that basically the gist of it?
Yeah, that
Okay.
is just
And,
the
you know
just
what?
is they're having men in women's prisons.
Yeah, yeah. I've heard a little bit about that, and I just wanted to say, well, I think they're talking about putting their IDs or their like links to something to where we can support them, right?
Yes.
Okay, so for sure, I'm gonna follow up on that and support. But I also wanted to quickly say that I think it's important that for the listeners as well, especially the young people, that I think they really need to beware. They need to be really weary. Really, they need to think about the movements that they support
Mm-hmm.
and the slogans that mask their intentions.
Yes, sir.
These extremist groups, these groups that are extremist groups like LGBTQ plus, like I want to throw in there BLM, and even what the current wave of feminism is now. These extremist groups use gaslight. I know that's another term that's kind of a cringy ass term because a lot of young people overuse it, but it's the best word that I can use to make my point, that they use a style of argument that's like the ultimate gaslighting technique. You must agree with their argument, but by agreeing to their argument, you're agreeing that you are the oppressor by privilege. If you do not agree, then you're the bigot.
Yep.
And that is like a really disingenuous style of argument.
Yes.
I think whenever someone is in that position where you're up against someone who is using that against you, it has to be called out on the spot. Whether it's a politician, whether it's a celebrity, whoever it is.
And that's exactly what it is, my man. You know, and I think a lot of us see it. The problem is that the young people are not, because they're using a lot of the social media, they're using a lot of the actors, they're using a lot of the sports people to push their agenda. And their agenda is not about equality. It's about taking over and making everybody believe the way they believe. And you know what? No, if you want to be a Christian, be a Christian. You want to be a Catholic, be a Catholic. You want to be a Muslim, be a Muslim. You want to be an atheist, be an atheist. You can't call somebody evil or a bigot just because they don't believe. That's what makes America great. And unfortunately, in California, it's been taken over. And we as Raza in California have such a majority, but we don't use it. We don't use
But
it.
you've really raised a lot of awareness. Like you've done something that nobody's really done before, and
Caller, I
and
appreciate the call.
made this. Thank you very, very much. That I agree with all that extremism stuff. Where we're on the moderation tip, but you've really helped make politics something that people can be interested in, because it's people don't generally want to listen to that. They want to turn it off. But you've made it enticing. You've made it accessible.
Well, what it is unfortunately, a lot of people rather hear about the penitentiary and this vato tax, this vato, and this and that, and they think that's exciting. And I try to tell them, homie, they're taking over countries.
Yes.
Fuck D yard or B yard or the
Yeah.
block. These motherfuckers are going in there doing that real gangster shit, pressing up on you, and they're taking over countries. Or I'm running the city. Like when I say I'm running the city, it's like we can really run California. California, it's its own country, really, right? And if we came together, because most family members, Latinos, minorities, have a certain core like family values, and that's
But
what
it's under attack.
it's definitely under
It's
attack.
so
It's
under
been, but it's under attack where most people don't want to pay attention. But what's gonna happen is you're gonna wake up like my daughter. Shout out to my daughter. I love you. My daughter, when one of my grandbabies was born, my daughter, because I was a tough dad. My daughter would start with A's, when you start the semester, and then it'll go from, okay, I'm taking your radio away. Next report card, I'm taking your TV away. Next report card, I'm taking the door away. So people come over to the house like, hey, do your daughter ain't got a door? I said, no. She doesn't handle school. That means she doesn't have the right to have that privacy. She wants to go change, she got to go to the bathroom. But she had no door. And then after that, my daughter would sit there and read books. she's doing hard time, right? Only time she got crazy when I took her curling iron. Then and then that was over. But that's how I was as a father, right? When my granddaughter was born, she's like, Dad, I'm not gonna be nothing like you. If she wants to get her ear, because I would have a fit. How the hell are you gonna pierce her? Like all kind of stuff. I was a strict father, and she said, I'm gonna let her do whatever she wants. Christmas, she's like, man, I had to take her iPad away. I had to take this. I said, what happened, sweetie? And 'cause she's young. I said, all that. Oh, the kids can make a decision. It's like, no, she wasn't doing her homework. Her teachers were complaining about. I said, yeah, welcome to parenthood. She's like, no, you were. And Dad, thank you for what? For taking my door away. I appreciate that. And then just yesterday or this morning, me and my wife get a text from my daughter. And it's my granddaughter getting an award for math.
Aww.
So it's like taking the iPad away works.
Because that's how love is. Love isn't always beautiful or pretty or, flowers and roses. It's a different kind of love. Love isn't always this cookie cutter stuff. It's sometimes it's ugly, sometimes it's mean, sometimes it's long suffering. And that's what we're really trying to show. You got to fully love. And love, discipline is love.
Yeah, but unfortunately, the small masses, I call them, because they're small, but they control the masses, right? They're making it seem like the world is unicorn, the world is this, and in reality, this is still the jungle. This is still the jungle, and it's our responsibility as parents. Let's say we're the lions in the jungle, and especially the mama lions with the cubs. I'm gonna show them how to hunt. I'm gonna show them how to take care. He's not gonna just sit there and be like, "You do what you want." What's gonna happen? That cub's got no chance, and that's what's going on right now in America, especially California. They're trying to let the cubs do whatever they want. No, you can't tell the cub this. No, you can't do the cub. The cub wants to go play by the elephants. The cub, okay, well, the cub's gonna get smashed by the elephants. The cub's gonna get smashed by the buffalo. There's rules that we need to maintain a certain level of order, and that level of order is going away every day. Let me see. We're gonna take one more call real quick. Miguel, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Talk to us, brother.
Hey, what's up, Boo Boo? You made it on time this time.
I knew it was you.
Shit. What's going on, brother?
Hey, I want to know your opinion. Oh, you guys' opinion, or mostly you, Mary Controller, because it's kind of to you, Hey, did you ever hear about? I have this question for you, and then I have two. I have one.
I don't know. You're throwing too many questions. Let's drop one already. Drop one. Let's do it.
All right, here goes. Did you hear about that guy in San Bernardino that he bought that bus? He was like an owner, and he said he was going to take the homeless people to downtown LA.
No, I haven't. But I'll give him gas money to take him to Whittier.
Hey.
No, that's what this. He can come pick the ones up over here, but no, I haven't heard about it.
Okay, then that's not what I'm talking about. All right. So my question for the two I want you to look into it. It's pretty interesting. All right. For the question for the two guests.
Yes.
Did you guys ever? First of all, I want to say nice to meet you. And did you guys ever get a chance to get tattooed while you guys were in prison, or did you guys witness anybody like getting tattooed there?
She was coming out.
Is it time to show the goods? Yeah, we there's tattoos. You didn't get any.
I got a tattoo. Yeah, in prison. Yeah.
We have prison
tattoos. Was that the question?
No, that was the question. He wants to know about women.
Have we seen people get prison tattoos? Yes.
Are they any good?
I mean, the shading doesn't look great. It's a guitar string, so it looks like scratches, but some works pretty good.
There you go. You planning on going to a women's prison and getting tattoos? Is that your plan? Here we go.
No, I just I'm really into the culture of tattooing. I like all that stuff, and
that's
you'd be
right.
surprised what people could do with it.
Hey, did you get your? I think I sent you a beanie, right?
Yeah. I was about to tell you, thank you, man. Yeah, I got the beanie, man.
You're very welcome. See, we're a man of our words. I mean, we don't lie over here. Even though Chris wants to start a new fund that we're gonna give $1 million away to get more subscribers, but I think we might go to the feds. Hey, Miguel, I appreciate the phone call. Unless you got one more question.
Call about Chicano rap.
Oh no, we're gonna do a whole thing at Chicano rap, homeboy. We're gonna do a whole thing at Chicano rap next week, homeboy. Everybody's waiting on that. Everybody got
their opinion.
Yeah, we put it out there. Everybody's talking about it.
Everybody was off.
That's how we do it, homeboy. We are the trendsetters. All right, brother. Have a good one. Happy Friday. Yeah, everybody's talking about Chicano rap.
I heard it was dead.
I heard it was dead. Yeah. No, I don't think it is. Hit that intro, Chris. So I want to thank you, ladies, for. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted talking about both of you had obviously got prison tattoos, but you guys speak very well. How come you guys didn't come out with that stilo?
My boy.
I guess. Yeah, because like I have a ton of homegirls that they come out of prison and
you know what I mean.
Their vocabulary is just way out there. And I'm looking at both of you. If I see you in the market, I would never realize you guys did that much time in prison.
Cut me in line.
I mean,
oh yeah, all day long. But then I'll cut you.
Yeah.
I think that you were probably.
I mean,
no, you guys are both very articulate.
Yeah. I mean, did you guys read a lot in there, or
because you obviously I read my Bible a lot, and I hung out a lot around a lot of women who taught me a lot of things, right? How to carry yourself and how to speak so you could represent yourself well.
That's right.
Yeah, well, it worked.
It's God.
And you?
Same. Well, I used to read the encyclopedia by myself when I was little because I was the only child. But the women in prison did definitely teach me the importance of carrying yourself as a woman and being a woman. And I read a lot, and I hung out with a lot of the same lifers and LWAPs that she did. They were amazing teachers.
Right on. Right on. Well, this was a very informative podcast. This was man, it was touching on a lot of levels. I want to thank both of you and the muscle over there for coming through and putting yourself out there, because you guys really are. And people who don't know, who just sit there and want to talk shit, they're just the people, you know, they're the haters of the world. They're the ones that ain't doing anything. And what it is they hate that you guys are doing what they can. And you guys are actually putting yourself out there, and I want to commend you guys for doing that. And we're gonna try to help you any way we can on the channel. We'll try to give you some connections, and then we just support one another. That's the way we do it. So thank you guys for coming on. And with that being said, we're out of here, people. Tomorrow we got JT Campos, certified actor JT Campos. He plays, I think Baez is his name on Queen of the South, homie. Queen of the South. He's a crazy guy, man. He's actually good.
Season through to season.
Oh, super chat. OG Steve, hey Gil, how can I get an American Cholo beanie?
Damn, man.
Actually, that beanie I gave him was a Prime beanie. I had to give him the Prime beanie because Chicano's dead, homie. Chicano Rap's dead.
That's it.
But you know what, OG Steve, I'm gonna make some beanies. But probably by the time I make, now people wear beanies all year round, man. So I'll make some beanies. I'll make sure to send you one. You got any more super chats in there, Chris? We don't miss it. And somebody said, American Cholo, you haven't released your 23-and-1 DNA test. Go to members only, homeboy. It might be there, carnal. Actually, it's still sitting on my thing. I haven't.
You haven't taken it? Both of them are still there?
Yeah, I've been scared to send it out. I've been seeing people. I've been seeing too many Law and Orders to get their DNA test and they come back.
All of a sudden,
I'm like, yeah.
30 years from now.
Yeah.
Something happened 10 years ago.
I mean, but you know what? Listen, I got the proof that I'm as brown as they get, homie. You know why? Because all the people that want to say that they're this or that, I got my little shots.
Oh wow!
I got. You're official.
I got my third world shot in the arm,
so jealous.
homie.
I'm so
if you don't got that third world shot, don't come talk to me about all Mexica and all that shit, carnal. I got the sign, homeboy, certified, carnal. With that being said, we'll see you tomorrow, 4:00. Please subscribe. Please go and support their movement. Go to their Instagram. Everything they got going on. P.O. Box, if you guys want to write them. And you got any vatos in the pinta watching that can help them out, filing those forms. I know you guys are watching. I mean, for the cops. Yeah. We'll catch you guys later, man. We're out of here, Chris. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Woo!
Wow.
Man,
what do you think?